Grab a slice today. A Slice of Life serves up fresh, hot, award-winning pizza, wings, nachos, quesadillas, soups, and salads. They also have great local brews on tap, the largest tequila selection in town, and plenty of flat screens for all the sports action. A Slice of Life Pizzeria and Pub. 4 locations open daily from 11 a.m. until 11 p.m. Order online at grabslice.com.
One of the marks that separates man from beast has been the ability to make and use his own tools. There was a day, not too long ago, when men made tools to last, handsome, reliable, and ready to help you tame the world. Put your hands on something that leaves a legacy. Grab a knife your dad would use. Jocko Blades.
And welcome to tonight's broadcast of the state championship football game. We are, as you can see on your screen, only able to do an audio broadcast tonight. So if you want to try to catch the stream somewhere, there's a couple of places where you can do that. But we will be doing an audio-only broadcast of tonight's game. So welcome to Carter-Finley Stadium. We are high atop the press box here, a long way away from the field, but we are excited to bring you radio coverage the way we started this whole thing out of tonight's state championship game between the Hoggard Vikings and the Weddington Warriors. Hoggard comes in having won 14 games in a row following a Week 1 loss to Cleveland, and the Vikings are the number 3 seed in the 4A East. Weddington comes in 13-2, and they are
Weddington has won 3 state titles, never at the 4A level. Hoggard has been in existence for 56 years.
Hang on just a second. There we go. Sorry about that. As we are taking on Weddington, they're 13-2, coming in as the number 1 overall seed in the 4A West. And should be a fun one tonight. The Hoggard team is out there on the field warming up. There's no one from Weddington except for the special teams, the kicker and the holder and the punter out there. But joining us here on the pregame show before heading down to the sidelines is Johnny Adams. And, Coach, Hoggard offense has been lighting it up here in the playoffs. 52, 39, 43, 51, and 41 points. A balanced attack. But a stiff test tonight with this Weddington defense. What do you expect to see from Hoggard's offense tonight?
I agree that the defense for Weddington it comes in with a lot of accolades, and they got some players that are creating a lot of attention. But I once again with offense, I'm always talking about ball security. We need our skill guys to take care of the ball. We can't give the other team short fields. Can't have no turnovers, so we got to take care of the ball, and we got a balanced attack. We got 4 to 5 receivers that are hard to guard. We got to run, and we got 3 guys back there in the running the ball that at any time can break one and have at different times during the season. So we're balanced, we're consistent, but one of my keys tonight is that offensive line. We got 4 seniors and a junior there. There's a lot of experience there. So those guys, they protect the quarterback, open up holes on the run game, and just help us balance the attack and give our defense rest when they need it. But then also, again, the defense has helped us out too with the short fields and turnovers and scoring points. So we'll always take that. But I like our offensive line to be very consistent and dominant tonight, and I think that's a big key.
Well, Coach Adams will be on the Hoggard sideline tonight, so we will look forward to hearing his thoughts from down there, a whole lot closer than we are up here on the 4th floor. We are even with the lights on the visiting side of the stadium with where we are. On the Weddington sideline tonight will be Chris Manning. And, Chris, we have you?
Yes.
Okay, so we've got Chris. He's going to be heading down to the Weddington sideline. Chris, the Hoggard defense has been awful good this year. I think close to 30, a little over 30 forced turnovers, and they've been able to score a lot of points. But once again, when you get to this point in the season, you're facing the best team that you've played all year long when you're in a state championship game. What does the Hoggard defense need to do to shut down Weddington quarterback Tyler Budge, who's responsible for 43 touchdowns this year, 28 through the air and 15 on the ground? He's thrown for almost 3,000 yards, rushed for almost 600.
Well, Brett, I tell you what, he's got some awful impressive stats. The one thing quarterback Budge does is he runs the ball. He's kind of a big kid, 6'3", 225, runs with a little bit of power. And so that's something I'm not sure we have seen from a quarterback with as many passing yards and touchdowns, and also tuck it and get some yards too. That's a dynamic I'm not sure we've seen. But, you know, for the Hoggard defense, can we just keep doing what we've been doing in creating turnovers? Creating the turnovers has been so big for us. Like you said, we have scored direct points off turnovers, and we've set up our offense on some short fields. And I think can we win the turnover? Just like Johnny said, you know, ball security from us, can we turn them over? That's going to be big. But the teams are similar. You know, both teams with really good defensive lines, you know, good offensive lines, good quarterbacks. I mean, both teams are, you know, look a lot alike. And something's going to give tonight. And, you know, I'm excited to see us back in the championship for the first time in 16 years. Been a lot of good football played in between those. This team's got a chance to win a state championship.
Well, and we'll look forward to Chris's perspective tonight from down on the Weddington sideline. We're not used to having two sideline reporters, but we've got two tonight because we've got all of our jobs taken care of up here, and we're hoping that we will have a live stat feed on the screen here for you so that you can kind of see down and distance and all that kind of stuff. But we will also keep you updated. As we said, we started several years ago doing this as a radio broadcast. And then when COVID came, we turned it into a video broadcast. Well, tonight, because the Sinclair Broadcasting Group has television rights to be able to do the state championship games, we're unable to broadcast. But hopefully, if you want to find the game, we've got a link in the chat. If you go back in the chat, there's a link where you can watch the game for free. And if you want to get your TV or your that stream and our stream linked up so you can listen to us, as we know we got a lot of Hoggard fans that are out there. But we will do the best we can to paint a picture of what we're seeing here, which, as we said, we are high above the playing surface, so it'll also be good to get the point of view of Johnny and Chris down there on the field. As far as common opponents go, there's only one. Chapel Hill High School, Hoggard's first-round opponent, which the Vikings defeated 52-0. Also played Weddington. Weddington won that game back in September 66-13. No other common opponents, as you might expect with a Charlotte area team and a Wilmington team. But should be an exciting, fun game here tonight as we get ready to get started. We are just under 20 minutes away from kickoff here as we're headed toward, I guess, about a 7 11 kickoff time as the 3A championship game went about 5 minutes longer than what they expected. Joining us up here, and I'm going to let them start talking here for a little bit, is our usual play-by-play team of Jonathan Everett and Tony Stroud. And, guys, we're getting ready to call a state championship game.
You know, Johnny, one of the things that since we started doing this, something that Brett referred to at the beginning of his monologue, was that, you know, we were trying to we had good equipment, and we sort of used to practice a little bit about how to do this. We went to Brett's house one night and watched an old jamboree and tried to practice. And everybody but Chris was pretty good that night. We thought he was okay, but he declared himself horrible. But anyway, the thing I was going to say about this is, in listening to almost every broadcast that I could while riding in the car, one of the things that it's still Stan Cotton at Wake Forest, right?
Yes, sir.
Stan Cotton says down below a whole lot on the Grove Stadium, or I think it's a bank now, Grove Stadium playing surface down below. Stan, my friend, I know there's no way you're listening, but I thoroughly understand what it means now to say the words down below. Brett said that we were at light level from across the way. I'm absolutely certain that if the State Fair was in town, we would be above the double-decker Ferris wheel. But we're up here, Johnny, and this is going to be a unique perspective for us, because the first time I looked down there tonight, it reminded me of like laying on the edge of my bed looking down at an electric football game. This is usually where you say something.
I think that is an incredibly accurate statement. When we got here this afternoon, the sun was still shining. It has since found its home in the western sky, and when birds were flying around when we first arrived, they were flying below us. So with a bird's eye view, we have a higher altitude than what most sparrows were enjoying earlier this afternoon. It is neat, the big-time field, not only for the players but also for us. And I know this is kind of a dream-come-true scenario for our broadcast team. We get to act like the big boys on Saturday, Sunday, and even Monday nights. Tonight, and under the lights, the boys in blue get to do the same thing and live out their childhood dreams of playing in college stadiums in a Saturday night big-time college atmosphere.
A lot of activity since we are high enough, and we might mention that another time or two. From our perspective, we can see a lot of activity that's sort of in the parking lot. First of all, our next-door neighbor, the PNC, is having Disney on Ice tonight. So as you look out over the stadium, it is an incredible amount of vehicles that doesn't match the actual crowd. But across the way, and tonight when you're watching, if you take a glance at television and decide that these descriptions are not as superior to what you can see with your own eye, the Hoggard crowd is filling in the middle three sections fairly nice. Whiteout tonight from the students. But the curious thing that's happened is both bands have been exiled into the end zone. That's a bit odd.
They're going to have to play loud and bring plenty of warm air if they want their constituents to hear what type of tune they're playing.
If you've ever been to a football game at Carter-Finley, and I hope maybe you have, this is a great atmosphere on a Saturday afternoon, except maybe when BMI is in town, which is about 4 or 5 times a year. But anyway, they are Hoggard using the visitors' locker room. State usually enters from the other end of the stadium in a rather rowdy entrance. And tonight, the Weddington team, Weddington High, is using the NC State locker room. So that's got to be the first little thrill of this, is that you're in a college locker room getting ready.
For sure, and there won't be maybe a touch of a letdown for the Hoggard Vikings, because to my knowledge there's no pyrotechnics this evening. There will not be any smoke, I don't believe. We do have 2 banners that the cheerleaders have prepared for tonight's contest. And things that we always like to keep our eye on is the pageantry and the spirit of the cheerleading squads. Weddington has multiple flags, probably Baker's dozens worth, to spell out the entirety of their town.
I do need to – you mentioned spell right there. I'm a little upset with the fact that our cheerleaders seem to not be able to spell Warriors correctly. It looks as if there's only one R in the first part.
Oh no!
So
maybe it was just a disrespect thing.
Hopefully we'll play a little bit better than we spell tonight.
I think it was disrespect. We don't care who you are.
The other thing about this is the fact that the early rumor was that the inflatable helmet was coming. Was that banned as well?
Yeah, this is you can't do all that stuff when you get to this point. It was almost like whoever put together the list of what you could and couldn't do had been watching our games, because no pyrotechnics, no noisemakers, no face paint, but that's standard when you're coming into an environment like this and play. It's not supposed to be a home game. So,
I think there's a chance that there'll be no people standing along the rail.
Don't believe. When they're standing along the rail here, there's nobody walking in front of them. We've got a really good student turnout over there, all dressed in white. Really good Hoggard crowd over there. It's hard for us to tell exactly how many Weddington people are here because we can't see half of the stands on this side from where we are because the upper level's covering it. But looks to be, a really good crowd from both Hoggard and Weddington here tonight.
The weather tonight,
perfect conditions.
I don't even know how to describe how good this is. The weather tonight is 64 degrees here at game time. It's a little light breeze. The chance of rain is – how do you have a 3% chance of rain? I guess you can't say zero because something might go AWOL there. But ideal conditions here, no matter where you're listening. I know we got a little group of folks in Charlotte listening to our broadcast, and we also have maybe the Weddington folks pick up because when I left Charlotte today, it was raining and just a little chill in the air. But folks, it is the first Friday night in October as far as this weather's concerned. So the Vikings should enjoy something that is very common in our world, and that is good weather, warmer weather later into the season.
Certainly mild temperatures to be this close to Christmas. And the Hoggard folks, if you're a fan, Chris described it earlier as T-shirt underneath and go hoodie or a sweatshirt over the top as your outer layering. If you're playing in this contest, there would be no sleeves necessary based on the temperatures and probably the pure adrenaline running through your body. If you are picking up this stream and listening to us for the audio, we thank you for that. You can see cheerleaders are on the field for both the Vikings and the Warriors. Warriors have brought multiple flags. They've got a big W out here at the 35-yard line. Officials for the contest are spread out at the home side of the field on the 50-yard line. And it looks like we have some military service representatives that will be escorting out the American flag along with the state of North Carolina flag over on the visitor sideline. And things seem to be like they are about to pick up. We have 10.5 minutes to play before kickoff. Got some Hoggard coaching staff just popped their head into our bird's nest and wishing everybody good luck. About 10 minutes to go here, and teams are, I think, maybe coming out of their respective tunnels.
I'm going to make one of my world-famous comparison analogies. If you've ever watched St. Joseph's basketball, the hawk stands in the corner and flaps his arms, proverbial wings, all night long. Weddington's flag bearers started about 5 minutes ago in what has now been this nonstop routine
If they were in a kayak or a canoe right now, they would have rowed.
They'd be in Greenville.
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
They've got a nice sequence to their motion, and the Weddington Warriors have just appeared out of their locker room tunnel. They have multiple flags with them as they're going to enter onto the playing surface here. I believe it is Wayne Day Family Field here at Carter-Finley Stadium in West Raleigh.
Jonathan and Tony, we have lucked out tonight that Weddington has chosen to wear their green uniforms with the white numbers. As Tony, I'm stealing a little bit of your thunder here.
No.
But last week they wore all black with green numbers, and from where we are, that would have been almost impossible to see. So this is actually a great uniform situation for us up here. Very contrasting numbers and jersey colors from these two teams.
You know, it's funny about before this started, before we started doing this, now you turn on a game and somebody's wearing, like Northwestern wearing purple on a black background. You're like, ugh. But I think we're getting ready to have an entrance.
Definitely the four captains for Hoggard have entered onto the field. I guess the rest of the team is burrowed away still in the visitor locker room, getting final words of encouragement and advice from head coach Craig Underwood, who is making his second appearance in a state championship game. The first time he did it was back in 2007. It was not at this stadium. It was on the it was not on the Wake Forest campus, but it was in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, at Wake Forest's football field, and the Hoggard Vikings defeated a Wake Forest or a Winston-Salem team in Mount Tabor that day. Coach Underwood was serving as the defensive coordinator under head coach Scott Braswell. Tonight, Coach Underwood is the head coach, and that former head coach, Scott Braswell, is serving as an offensive line coach for the Vikings on this staff.
You know, this is interesting because right now we've had about a 4-minute bubble of anticipation. And the only thing that's giving anybody any sort of sense of peace is the White Stripe Seven Nation Army. They have sung a cappella to that. But it's interesting. It again, sort of boiling up to a point where we got some teams that are going to take the field, start experiencing the pageantry. I think the game was moved by about 5 minutes because I thought the first word was 7:06, and now we are obviously going to be a little bit later than that. And here's Weddington.
Here come the Warriors. They enter the field with an American flag, an Air Force flag, Army Reserves flag, two other battle flags, maybe a Union County, POW. Certainly representing all branches of the military and armed forces.
You know,
the Warriors.
You would think their nickname would be the flag makers, the Betsy Rosses.
They've got a lot of material down there on the Warrior sideline.
I think we're getting ready to introduce the.
Here come the Hoggard Vikings. They have just been introduced as the 4A Eastern champions.
Significant crowd support difference in volume from the Hoggard side. Significant.
Hoggard makes their way over to the visitor sideline. The home and away teams are selected the year prior. They just alternate. It has nothing to do with record or RPI. And because the Vikings are from the East, they just happen to be the visitors this year. If Hoggard were to return and play in this same contest next season, we would then be the home team.
We're getting ready to have the honor guard move to midfield for the playing of the national anthem. And, Brett, as usual, we're going to let the folks listen to that.
I am efforting that.
What a great word, efforting.
Well, we've mentioned our broadcasting perch this evening is certainly further distance away than what we are used to, but we do have a television monitor to help aid throughout the broadcast. So we will be watching a live stream that is being broadcast on the NFHS.
That's our ROTC for the honor guard.
Oh, that's a nice representative.
That's just what he just said. I did not know that.
Also here in attendance tonight, besides the honor guard and the football team, the band is here, the cheerleaders are here, the dance team is here, the students are here, local community members, a well-represented crowd that have come up from the Port City. Now let you hear the PA announcer and the national anthem.
A stirring rendition of the national anthem with about 4,000 people singing backup. Wow. That's a good omen.
She just dusted off the pipes.
Woo! Put a tear in the corner of one of my eyes. That one was so good, and I love it when the crowd sings along. Those who've been with me to a ball game know how much I love the national anthem and crowd participation. And the willingness to try to hang with her in the sing-along shows a little bit of guts. But the crowd did it. We're getting ready to play football. We got captains.
I just caught a glimpse of the Weddington sideline and their fan support. And not being biased here in the slightest bit, Hoggard has doubled, if not tripled, their attendance on our visitor sideline.
Johnny, I work with numbers every day. I think that's eightfold.
Captains, well, actually, a member of each team is being recognized out at midfield. It is a photo opportunity for both the East and West champions. And these are the Farm Bureau Sportsmanship Awards for the 2023 season. The Hoggard recipient is senior tight end, number 88, Charlie Kilborn, who has just received that award at midfield. Graham Mills, a senior wide receiver and linebacker, the recipient for the Weddington Warriors. So a nice gesture there prior to kickoff from North Carolina Farm Bureau for their season of support in high school athletics. And Charlie Kilborn being recognized as a wonderful representative of Hoggard High School as far as sportsmanship goes.
Weddington will be wearing a green jersey with white pants. That's a Kelly green. White helmet with a green W, something akin to that of the Wisconsin Badgers. Vikings in the home uniform, the traditional white jersey, blue pant, blue helmet with the battle axe and the H. Tell them about the captains, Johnny.
I'm trying to put glasses on it. As far as I could tell, serving as captain tonight for the Vikings, the defensive end. He's a senior. Number 13, Malachi West. Outside linebacker, senior number 21, Reagan Prenti. Serving as an offensive captain, the right tackle, Will Myatt, number 63. He's a senior. And the final member of the captains tonight, number 75, the left guard, senior Jason Smith. For the Weddington Warriors, number 12, quarterback, he's a senior, Tyler Budge. Number 5, Gavin Schrader, who is a junior. And I'm going to have trouble with the last two. Number 10, Michael Luisa, a senior linebacker for the Warriors. And the final person, I think, is wearing number 1, Drew Harris. No, that can't be right.
I'm going to move on to the fact that Hoggard called it tails. It was tails. Johnny's trying to read from a long way away.
Yeah, number 11 is the final captain, Keenan Jackson, a wide receiver and defensive back.
Hoggard won the toss and is elected to defer. A standard procedure. We're going to play football here. We're getting ready to play football right now. Hoggard will be kicking the ball away from the scoreboard, if you're familiar with Carter-Finley Stadium. Hoggard kicking away from the scoreboard. And the officials have just now had their powwow at midfield and said, give them a good game, fellas. That's always important. These guys have been rewarded through about a month now, their performance in the round leading up to this particular game, and so they have been rewarded. In just a couple of seconds, the kicker will raise his hand. The man in the white hat standing in the opposite end zone will point at him, and we'll be ready to play football. Tell them all about it, Johnny.
Damian Bounds will serve as
Coach Adams, did you have something to tell us down there?
I was just going to say, our crowd is on fire.
Hopefully our football team will be as well. Damian Bounds going to serve as the kicker for the Vikings. Hop, skip, and a jump into the pigskin. He kicks a high one deep into the end zone, and it'll be an automatic touchback. Things have gone typically like that on the opening kickoff so far this season. Bounds with a big right leg, and he showed it off here in West Raleigh. So the Warriors will begin the drive. First drive of the ball game from the 20-yard line, 1st and 10.
Their quarterback, who has been prolific this year with 2,959 yards passing, his name is Tyler Budge. We have got to budge him off of his comfort spot here tonight.
And he is going to play football at Georgia Southern next year.
We're told that the Warriors very much resemble the Vikings, that these two teams should match up well with one another. We're about to find out. Budge is in the shotgun, and he gives right up the gut. It is number 22, the ball carrier, Brady Ritter, a senior running back, and he's tripped up after about 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 7. 36, Rylan Edwards credited with the tackle. He's a senior linebacker, and he's the second leading tackler on the team for the Vikings. Budge once again in the shotgun, 3 wide receivers to his left. He fakes the give. Budge is going to try to run, and he's wrapped up immediately and thrown down rather rudely by 21, Reagan Prenti. Prenti was coming on the blitz and went right up the middle on the offensive line of Weddington to wrap up Budge for a loss of 2. 3rd and 9 upcoming.
Time to get off.
11-10 to play in the first quarter.
Time to get off the field with the defense.
It's been a good 50 seconds and a solid first 2 plays for the Hoggard D. Budge in the gun again, trips to the bottom of the formation, man-to-man coverage up top. They go to that up top receiver coming across the field on the slant. Catch made for a first down. It was hauled in by number 5, Gavin Schrader, a junior wide receiver. He caught it in front of Kamar Fulton. Fulton with tight coverage on Schrader, but the ball was placed right where Schrader could catch it. Fulton did a nice job to bring him down. First down, Weddington.
Budge steps right into it and throws a dart. We knew he's a player.
They fake the halfback dive, and it's a quarterback keeper following the lead block of the running back. He doesn't go far, takes a couple of steps, and is dumped down after a pickup of maybe 2. Malachi West was in there to trip up Budge. along with Asaph Ishmael.
They're showing a lot of people in the pattern early. They've ran the ball between the tackles early, but they're still showing us a lot of folks. 3 in the pattern now.
Now they flip the formation. They've got a tight end and 2 wide receivers to the high side. Budge looking that way. Throws across the middle. It's off target. It's intercepted. Trey Nixon.
This is it.
He's got nobody in front of him. The quarterback.
Give him one more.
Quarterback saves a touchdown. Trey Nixon caught it right in his chest at about the 35-yard line and rumbled down the left side. He needed one more blocky to hit pay dirt. Instead, Nixon has set up the Hoggard offense at the 5-yard line.
Wow, he threw that right to him.
He did, man. Holy cow. He just
It was behind the receiver.
2 deadly. That pass had 2 deadly attributes. It was high and it was late.
Props to Budge. He slowed down Nixon just enough for big number 60, an offensive
touchdown.
lineman rumbling behind
Vikings.
him. And there you have it, folks.
Hot damn. Oh, yeah.
An interception brought back to the 5-yard line, and then Hoggard strikes in one play. It was Charlie Kilborn, the tight end. The man was recognized before the ball game got started, and he's recognized just after one play on offense.
Need a man out there. Need another shooter.
Standing in the red paint, and that puts 6 points on the board for the Vikings. Out for the PAT attempt, number 1, Tobias Brubaker, the holder, is Colin Parker. Snap to Parker, hold good. Ball might have been tipped, I can't tell, but it went through the uprights. Nice and smooth, your new score with 9:54 to play in the first quarter. Hoggard on top, 7-0 over Weddington. After a rollout to the right, Hudson Wilharm finds Charlie Kilborn.
What's the best thing you can do for an already jacked up crowd?
Let's go ahead and get a turnover and score.
Turnover and score. The first quarter is brought to you by the Hoggard Athletic Boosters Club. If you want to play in state championship games, you've got to have volunteerism, you got to have funding, and you got to have folks that come and support your team. The Hoggard Athletic Booster Club all season has been a proud sponsor of Hoggard football, and I'll tell you about all the other various surfaces that they sponsor the next time I speak about it.
Oh, we've got a little bit of a delay here. The man in the red shirt and red hat has paused game action for an official commercial break.
Yeah.
We've got a new player. Oh!
You can tell us a little bit more about the Booster Club.
The Boosters Club, if you in the pool, on the court, on the course, if it goes over a net, through a net, I don't think anything goes under a net, even around the net. Hoggard's fall season has been outstanding. During the regular season, there are 7 conference sports, and we were 6 times number 1, the other time number 2. And I'm going to go ahead and give a shout-out to the all-time greatest coach in the history of swimming, Tammy Proden. Johnny's got his binoculars out. We've got a man calling TV timeouts. Oh, my. Is this the big time?
Looking to see who's back deep for Weddington on the kickoff. Appears to be number 11, Keenan Jackson, a senior. Oh, and then
a fall down.
Down goes Damian Bounds. We talked about his powerful right leg. He slid into that one, used his right leg. It hit a Warrior at the 40-yard line. Things could have gotten wacky there and turned into a onside kick. Instead, Weddington recovers the football after hitting the knee pad of the up man. And the Warriors are going to begin with excellent field position at the 40-yard line, 1st and 10 here.
That was a flat, just lose your footing on the plant foot, right?
Yeah, he just went down. That was not planned, I don't believe.
No, I didn't think it was planned.
Line.
It was a bust is what
He slipped. He flat out slipped.
We saw a lot of slipping going on for the North Carolina Tar Heels here about 2 weeks ago when they took on the Wolfpack, and a lot of those guys changed cleats at the half. Here's a handoff. First time 34 touches it. He's across midfield. That running back is Nick Diamond. Maybe a diamond in the rough for the Warriors. He crossed midfield and got dropped after a first down was gained. He's inside the 45 to the 44-yard line.
The Charlotte Observer was publishing an article this week about their success. They've used the pass to build leads and then grind it out with Mr. Diamond.
Here's Budge through the air. Screen pass set up to wide receiver number 11, and he is caught at the waistline and thrown down as he crossed the 40-yard line to the 39. Reagan Prenny with the tackle on Keenan Jackson.
That one a tilt-a-whirl?
Jackson seems like the guy they want to get the football to. And certainly out in space. They succeeded that time. He picked up 6 before Prenny stopped the run. 2nd and 4. Budge looks to the sideline. He's still in the shotgun. Haven't seen him under center yet tonight. To his left is the running back, a junior, Nick Diamond. They give to Diamond. Right up the gut he goes. Broke a tackle at the line of scrimmage, and he's inside the 30 to the 25-yard line. Jake Supek and 45 for Hoggard. Jared Austin combined to make the hit. But Diamond so far has proven his ability to run the football and pick up tough yardage through the middle of the Hoggard defense.
Pretty similar numbers for Diamond to Mikkel Bellamy of Hoggard. 886 yards rushing, almost 7 yards a carry so far this year.
Trips to the right of the formation, one-on-one coverage down at the bottom with Keenan Jackson. It's a give up the gut to Diamond again, and he's wrapped up at the 20-yard line. Now that we've been up here a little bit, my eyes have adjusted. It was 95 of Hoggard that made the hit on Diamond that time. Ty Bell credited on the tackle after a pickup of 5 for Diamond. If Hoggard wants to stay in this ball game, they got to find a solution for number 34. Nick Diamond.
2nd down and 5.
He's ran the ball 4 times.
He's run it hard 4 times. This time through the air, Budge finds his receiver, number 11, just gets 2 feet inside the sideline on the Weddington side of the football field. Keenan Jackson made the grab. He's inside the 10 at the 9-yard line. He's doing his work in front of Kamar Fulton, who was playing corner. Trey Nixon on the far side for Hoggard. The other corner in the 2 safeties are Jake Supek and Josiah Gillespie.
This drive was set up by an unfortunate occurrence where the kicker fell during the kickoff.
Quarterback keeper all the way, trying to run behind the running back Diamond. Ball came loose. He got stacked up. Quarterback was stopped. He was stacked up. Prenny stripped the ball loose. The whistle didn't blow, and the loose football was picked up by number 1, Drew Harris, and he went into, or number 11, Keenan Jackson. As the ball was floating across the grass, he scooped it up and went into the end zone, picked up the ball about the 4-yard line.
I believe we should have unsportsmanlike here. A Weddington player took his helmet off after the score.
Budge was wrapped up at the 9-yard line. He was still moving forward. Rylan Edwards had hit Budge. Prenty ripped the football loose.
Jonathan, it just bounced right to
props to Keenan Jackson for keeping his head on a swivel. The ball ended up right in his lap. Hoggard brings pressure on the PAT attempt. Got through the line of scrimmage but couldn't get a hand on the football. PAT is good. Your new score with 7:46 to play in the ball game. 7-7, we're all tied up. This one's been exciting so far.
You know, Keenan Jackson, the receiver there that picked that ball up, and he had a big catch right before that. 92 receptions, 1,568 yards, and 17 touchdowns coming into tonight's game. Hoggard has multiple weapons in the receiving core. Most of the passes that are being thrown by Tyler Budge are heading toward his receiver that is going to play at the University of North Carolina. So almost half of Budge's completions have been to Keenan Jackson.
So he's got 2 grabs already tonight?
He does. 2 catches for 16 yards.
And then a fumble recovery for a touchdown. Gosh, you just hate it for Hoggard. They had Budge, the quarterback, stacked up in the middle of the field. It looked like he was going to go down at about the 8 or 9 yard line, and luckily for them, the ball popped loose. The kicker for the Warriors is wearing number 82, Everett Scott. He serves as the kicker and the punter, but he kicked the PAT attempt to even the ball game at 7. And I want to make sure this is him that'll be handling the kickoff duties for the Warriors. Don't know if they swap out guys like the Vikings do or not. It'll be 82, Everett Scott, that does kick off for the Warriors. Back deep to receive for Hoggard. Usual suspects. It is number 3, Blake Edwards, and number 4 for the Vikings. They standing at the 9-yard line, Trey Nixon. Doesn't matter. Kick sails into the end zone. It was actually Fontaine back deep for Hoggard, and neither guy gets an opportunity to field the football as it sails into the end zone, and Hoggard will begin 1st and 10 from the 20. So Hoggard now even after the Warriors have had the football for 2 drives. Vikings have had it for 1 play, and it was a successful one. 5-yard touchdown pass from Hudson Wilharm, rolling to his right and hit the tight end, Charlie Kilborn. Here's Hoggard on 1st and 10. They throw right side, completed to Nas Session. He picks up 1 and is bottlenecked by the Warrior defense quickly. It looked like 33. Matthew Masario, a defensive lineman and a senior, put the lick on Session. Here's Hoggard, trips to the short side of the field. The ball's on the right hash. Hudson Wilharm in the shotgun goes with a hard count. There was movement up front. The defensive lineman Aiden Harris, just a sophomore, appeared to have jumped, but he got back on sides before the ball was snapped. 2nd and 9, Wilharm gives to 22. Mikael Bellamy, he flows off the left side, and there were 1, 2, 3, 4 Warriors there to put a stop to Bellamy's run after gaining maybe just a couple of feet. 3rd and long upcoming here for Hoggard from the 22-yard line. First man in there for the Warriors, Caleb Hill, a junior corner. Also number 6, Aiden Harris that I just mentioned. He was antsy to get to the football. 6, the defensive lineman Harris, a sophomore, and number 1, Drew Harris, are twin brothers. They both play defensive tackle for the Warriors, and we've been told they're a load up front. Here's Harris with a hit on Wilharm as he unleashes the football, looking for Bo Toops on the far side of the football field, actually the near side, in front of the Warrior bench at the 35-yard line. Pass
There's a flag.
falls
There's a flag over there.
Maybe it was the hit on the quarterback.
Well, the flag was thrown from all the way downfield.
Say pass interference.
We have a sideline warning on Weddington. That is their first. There's no yardage attached to that foul.
Most unnecessary, boring call in the sport.
Just a sideline warning on Weddington. So an incomplete pass on 3rd and 8. Hoggard only picked up 2 yards on that drive. Weddington's defense looked pretty stout against the run. And out comes Tobias Brubaker to punt it away from the 22-yard line. Back deep to receive for the Warriors is number 4, Gannon Anthony. Here's Brubaker with up rugby-style kick. Takes a couple steps to the right, kicks away, and a fair catch is called for at the 45-yard line. So the Warriors are set up again with pretty solid field position. It was actually 15, Ian McDermott, that made the fair catch.
You know, Johnny, the little haymaker, and all of a sudden the dog in the corner is like, oh, okay, this is how we're going to do this? I don't see any reason that this game, nothing right now shakes my confidence. We set them up with the ball, and now the field flip was not very successful. Let's just see if that defense can warm up and get started.
This drive will begin from the 46-yard line. It's a run by Diamond. He crosses midfield and is hit. Nope, not Diamond. It's 22. So they go with a rotation. It was Brady Ritter, a senior running back. They go with a rotation do the Warriors like Hoggard does as well with their 3-man rotation. Just under 6 minutes to play here in the opening frame of the ball game. It is 7-7. Want to keep reminding you of the score. If you're listening to us, we'll do our best. Here's Budge through the air. Catch made again at the 40-yard line. It was Keenan Jackson, and he got hit as he was being thrown out of bounds. Official was kind to the Vikings that time to keep the flag in his pocket. It'll be a first down for the Warriors inside the 40 at the 38-yard line.
This may be the only position on the field where I can truly help because this is about as close as they get to me.
Malachi West standing up in a sprinter stance. The defensive end position, there's only 2 wide receivers out in this pass pattern, but they've brought in 2 tight ends, have the Warriors. 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. Budge in the shotgun. To his left is that running back, Nick Diamond. Diamond stays in to pass protect. They sling it out quickly to the left. Catch made again by Keenan Jackson. Kamar Fulton shoved him out of bounds. Jackson still picked up 5, maybe 6. Jackson seems to be their gas pedal guy. He makes the offense go, I believe. And with the Weddington coaching staff seeing Kamar Fulton matched up on Jackson man-to-man, they're testing Fulton early in this contest. Give right up the gut. It's 22, and he's busted. Reagan Prenti there to implant his headgear into the chest of the running back Brady Ritter. Ritter paid for that one. He got popped by Prenti initially.
Big play
then
early.
Was wrapped up by Malachi West. It'll be 3rd and a long 4.
Big play
for
early.
the Warriors. I don't believe they're in field goal range.
We don't have enough
Football's
coverage at the top.
It's
there
at
we
the
go.
33-yard line. Now folks are splitting out to the top side of the formation. 5 wide. First time we've seen this for Tyler Budge. I think he's going to keep it for himself. He doesn't. He gets rid of the football right at the sticks. Catch made, and it'll be a first down for the Warriors. A new target, Anthony Barrino, a freshman running back, just made the catch.
We're a little soft on this coverage right now.
Well, and they're throwing the ball to their best receiver pretty consistently. One thing that's interesting, Hoggard was already down one defensive back in Jermaine Armour, and we do not see Braden Stevens out there. So Vikings down a couple of starters in the defensive backfield.
Kamar Fulton's had his hands full here.
There we go.
Handoff, 31. He gets the touch. Anthony Barrino after making that first down catch, and he's wrapped up by Reagan Prenti. We've called Prenti's name already a lot in this first quarter. It's been Prenti and 36, Rylan Edwards combining to make that stop. It was a loss of 2 on Barrino.
Folks, in a game like this where you're playing a team from the other part of the state, you still got to go out there and get a feel for what they are physically. Film can't tell you that. I think this game will settle in that way.
Solid offensive line so far for the Warriors. Hoggard hadn't been able to get pressure. Here's Budge with time on the left side. He makes a pass. It's completed. A broken tackle at the 10-yard line on Kamar Fulton, and Keenan Jackson tight ropes his body into the end zone for a Weddington touchdown. So a nice play defensively on first down for a loss of 2, and then a touchdown strike where the catch was made at about the 20-yard line. Jackson stepped out of a Kamar Fulton tackle, and he showed his athleticism and balance.
They ran one play.
Tiptoeing down the Weddington sideline to score.
They ran one play 5 times.
Well, they were successful on it every time they threw it to him on that drive.
They were successful 6 times of the 5 times they tried it.
Budge is 7 for 8.
Here's Everett Scott. The kicker comes out for the Warriors and puts it through. So with 4:03 to play in the first quarter, Weddington Warriors have scored twice. It is 14 for them, 7 for the Hoggard Vikings. Hoggard capitalized off of an interception, returned to the 5-yard line, and scored on the next play.
All right, so something that I have been talking about during this entire playoff run is this is the first time that we have been behind in a football game since week 1. And this is an experienced football team, 39 seniors. They've obviously been through a lot. But this is the first time they've looked up at the scoreboard and seen the other team ahead in, 16 weeks. It's going to be interesting to see how we respond in this situation.
It's not only that they are ahead, they flipped the score already. We've had a lead change. The little man with the red shirt that comes out and holds up the game is standing on the sideline, so we're getting ready to get right back to kickoff.
We need to send Chris down there and tell that man, hey, hop off the field. We're ready to play.
Well, in the notes that they gave us, that happens twice a quarter. So once we've done it twice, which we already have, then things progress pretty quickly.
Here's the kick from the Warriors. It looks like be another good one. It is. It'll be in the end zone.
Okay.
And Hoggard will begin at the 20-yard line. So we need to go 80 yards to hit pay dirt, but that's something we've done quite a few times this year.
There's just plenty of time left in this football game. They ran one play. I'm sure the Vikings are over there discussing that one play. They threw the ball out in the flat to their best receiver. What we need to do now is come out here and let's establish some action.
It was a 27-yard touchdown reception, but really the catch was about a 7-yard catch, step out of a tackle, and a 20-yard run. Here's Hoggard. They go through the left side a bubble screen was set up for Blake Edwards. He made the catch and was blown up after a loss of 6. There were 2, maybe even 3 Weddington defenders. Aiden Harris, the defensive lineman, the first to get there. He's listed as a defensive lineman along with his twin brother, Aiden Harris and Drew Harris. They're both sophomores, but they look like safeties rather than nose tackles.
Sort of that Appalachian State look where everyone's the same size.
And they're going with speed rather than power. Here's Wilharm with time in the pocket. Now steps up, and he can't elude number 1, Drew Harris. So on first down, Aiden Harris made the tackle. On second down, it's his brother, Drew. He gets credit for the sack on Wilharm. It's a big loss. Ball all the way back to the 11-yard line, and Hoggard needs to get to the 30 if they want to keep it.
Right now, we have not had any fortune protecting. Wow, we had such an easy pitch and catch to take a 7-0 lead. But I want to tell Hoggard Nation, take a deep breath. We have got a lot of football to play. We've just seen something happen to us, as Coach Queen mentioned, that hadn't happened all year.
5 wide here for Hoggard on 3rd and 19. Wilharm, quick slant, right side, catch made for a pickup of 5 to Bo Toops, and he is piled up and gang tackled at the 15-yard line, nowhere close to the first down marker, but a confidence builder, penalty marker down on the field.
It's in the Weddington secondary.
Give us a free one.
Maybe a holding, defensive holding on a receiver running a route.
Tony, is that an automatic first down in high school?
Yes. I thought it was going to be offside, actually.
It's too far down the field. Personal foul. Wow, that's a big penalty.
They get the junior corner, Caleb Hill, with his hand in the cookie jar.
Some dude face masked some guy down here in this bottom quadrant of the play.
Figuratively speaking, in all actuality, it was Caleb Hill that got his hand stuck in the face mask at the 30-yard line, probably 40 yards away from where Bo Toops caught the football on the other side of the field. So Hoggard lucky there.
That was Weston Chalk on the catch.
It was a nice, decent break for the Vikings. It results in a first down, and the ball's moved out at the 30-yard line. They give it straight up the gut to 22, Mikael Bellamy, and he nosedives after a gain of 1 yard. Condolences to Weston Chalk. I thought it was Bo Toops wearing number 11, but it was actually our tight end wearing 18. So a grab for a pickup of 5 for 18, Weston Chalk, and then the penalty aided the Hoggard drive. 2nd and 9 from the 31-yard line. Wilharm in the shotgun, throws left side. Nas Session makes the grab on one-on-one coverage and steps out of bounds at the 39-yard line.
Settle in here a little bit. Run some plays for your playmakers. I almost feel like the kid from Hoggard must have ran down the field and, stuck his face mask on the hand of the guy. I mean, I can't believe that was a penalty.
Session caught it about 2 yards short of the first down marker. Sam Neely two-hand shoved Session out of bounds. It'll be 3rd and a short 2.
Run your best 2-yard play.
Tight end in there to provide extra blocking for Hoggard. They run behind the block.
Be a yard short.
And he's just a touch short. It was 14, John Mason, that came in as an extra blocker. They tried to go off that left side behind Jason Smith and Michael Gibbs and also John Mason. It was Fontaine that got the carry, but he got hit a yard short of where he wanted to be. So Vikings have the football at the 40-yard line. Tobias Brubaker has come out to punt it away. 1:15 to play in the first quarter. Hoggard trailing Weddington 14-7, and the Warriors appear to be getting the ball back. Here's Brubaker with a straight-on kick. It's off the side of his foot, fluttering to the 35-yard line. Fair catch called for by Ian McDermott as the Vikings surround him. So 1st and 10 Warriors from the 35-yard line, 1:04 to play in the opening quarter.
The stat line right now in this game is not looking good for the Vikings. 127 yards for Weddington, just 11 for the Vikings. Hoggard has run a total of 10 plays and gained just 11 yards.
Okay, so you hear quarterbacks in the pros, you hear all kinds of comments about the game slowing down for someone. Weddington has been in this environment. The Vikings have not. This game will slow down. I am convinced that we're working on a level playing field of a football game we can be successful in. We just got to not dig a hole here.
Here's Budge, handoff up the right side. Hard running again from Nick Diamond. He was hit initially after about a 2-yard pickup and just kept churning his legs out to the 40-yard line. Asaph Ishmael leaving the field for Hoggard as his headgear came off on the first down play. Pickup of 5.
What stopped the clock there?
His headgear coming off.
Okay.
36, Rylan Edwards.
They're wearing headgear?
Rylan Edwards made the tackle on Diamond. He got 5. He's out to the 40-yard line. Budge rolling to his left now. Has time to unleash it. Looking deep to his favorite target. Catch was made. I don't know if he got a foot in bounds.
Out of bounds.
And the back judge is saying
Good
absolutely not. Sorry, Keenan Jackson. Josiah Gillespie made a better defensive play than you did catch that time. So incomplete. 3rd and 5 upcoming from the 40-yard line. Nice job there. And seeing the replay on the scoreboard, he got his right foot. He's wearing a green cleat, and he got his right foot down. It came down right on the white chalk of the sideline, so the official was on top of it.
Let's get off the field now. 3rd down. Had a couple of breaks lately.
Good call.
Fans on the Hoggard sideline getting into it here. Making noise, aiding their boys on defense.
Somebody needs to make a play.
10 on the play clock. Weddington trying to get things organized here. Now 5 on the play clock. Budge is going to have to hurry. 4, 3, 2. He gets the snap off. Rolls to his left. Looking left. It's an open man over the head of the Hoggard linebacker, Jarrett Austin. Catch made along the Weddington sideline. Jonathan Manley hauled that one in.
The man cannot throw the football but into one section of the field. The man he is hopelessly right-handed. Yeah, I said it about him. He's hopelessly right-handed, throwing the ball down the boundary. Come on now. Come on.
It's a sophomore wide receiver. They had the matchup they wanted, did the Warriors. A wide receiver was matched up on Jarrett Austin, an outside linebacker for Hoggard, and Manley used his speed. Nick Diamond up the gut again. Man, he runs hard. He got hit 2 or 3 times before Josiah Gillespie brought him down from behind. He had a handful of uniform on that number 34. Diamond kept his legs churning again. He's getting hit every time after a gain of 1, maybe 2 yards, but he's breaking those Hoggard tackles. That time he broke one from Reagan Prenny. And Gillespie finished Diamond off. Pickup of 5, it'll be 2nd and 5. If you can get 5 yards on first down every time, you're a tough team to defend.
The quarter.
Yep, that's the end of the first quarter with a 14-7 lead for Weddington. Tony, we'll let you tell us about our second quarter sponsor here.
I'm going to finish, though, this year off by saying to the Hoggard Athletic Booster Club, thank you for your support. That was your final first quarter no matter what. You know, one of the things I thought about this morning was, you know what? There's not a tomorrow no matter what. I mean, this is at the end of the season. That's where you want to be, where even if you win, you're done. The Record Bar is located at 5751 Oleander Drive. It's Christmas time, and we are selling some records. We're open Monday through Thursday, 10 to 5, Friday and Saturday, 10 to 6, Sunday, 12 to 5. Gift certificates. That special record. How about a turntable? You got to have a turntable, so come get a turntable, buy a couple albums. The Record Bar, 5751 Oleander Drive. The Record Bar is an old name with a new spin, but most importantly, a proud sponsor of Hoggard football, winners of 14 in a row.
You know, we talked about these two teams sort of mirroring one another, and throughout the first quarter, I could definitely see the resemblance between the two teams. Weddington likes to spread it out, and they have multiple targets to throw the football to.
But the target's in the same place.
That's true, but there's been multiple guys that have hauled in grabs. Only difference is up the middle. They've been successful running the football. Hoggard has not been up to this point. But hate to draw the comparison necessarily to a former running back for the Weddington Warriors, but this Nick Diamond character looks a lot like Will Shipley to me.
Chris, you're down there on the Weddington sideline, and I know we didn't have you there for a while. We got you back. Thoughts early on here?
Well, Brett, you know, we're losing the line of scrimmage. And, you know, you're talking about the pass they keep completing over and over. We're just giving them a little bit too much cushion there. Kamar had moved up on number 11 and was trying to cut that off there in the last series. So hey, this is a big test. But on offense, we gotta be able to get them off the ball. 6-1 are very athletic, and I understand why they got D1 off it.
2nd and 5 coming here for the Warriors as we begin the second quarter. Hoggard hanging tough. Hoggard was leading 7-0. Weddington has come back and scored on their last 2 possessions to take a 14-7 lead. One of those possessions could have as easily ended up as a turnover. Quarterback kept for himself and then fumbled the football when he got wrapped up at the 9. It ended up in the hands of Keenan Jackson, and he strolled in from the 3-yard line. First play of the second quarter is only a pickup of 1 yard. It'll leave 3rd and 4 from the 41.
150 yards of total offense for Weddington in the first quarter. Hoggard with just 11. And this is key. Weddington 3 for 3 on third downs. Hoggard 0 for 3. Big third down here for the Viking defense.
Weddington has 4 wide receivers.
Still not sure we had it covered right.
2 on each side. Now that running back, Nick Diamond, floats
uncertain.
out to the right side. Malachi West communicating with Rylan Edwards, trying to get him lined up correctly. Quarterback Budge walks up to the line of scrimmage and changes the play call. There's movement all over the right side of the defense for Hoggard, and now a timeout's taken by the Weddington sideline. Their head coach looks very frustrated with the offense. I don't know if either side was ready to snap that football.
Their coach is
he's a fiery fella.
He's a fiery character. He reminds me of the immature years that Mac Brown had when he just would rip off his headset and lose his stuff every now and then. But it's just I'm telling you, if you take a look at the first 6 plays of this game, the intangible was set there. We jumped on them for a score. We looked, happy and confident. The fall down on the kickoff, this is not about any particular kid. The kid slipped. That put into motion a set of circumstances that ended up in what right now is a bit of a disastrous drive.
Yeah, a little bit of a momentum shift on that kickoff.
And the touchdown was a fumble recovery. I mean, we had made the play. We had the ball loose. I still don't think the margin between these two is as great as may be perceived.
Oh, no. This is going to be a fight all night long.
Okay, brother. Here we go. I got my fist ready. I didn't tape up my knuckles, but
coming out of that timeout, it's still a 5-wide formation. This time there's 3 wide to the right, 2 to the left.
Yep.
And
that's got to be
2
them.
flags, now a third. Coach Craig Underwood is pointing that it's on Weddington. We will wait to find out.
It's got to be them. They've turned their back toward the line of scrimmage.
False start on Weddington, so it'll make this 3rd and 5, an important down already. Maybe even a little more important. Penalties so far in the ball game have been against Weddington. I don't know if Hoggard has drawn one.
The bizarre face mask is still amazing me, but okay. I'm worried about the guy in the slot, Johnny.
That's that running back. 3rd and 9. Quarterback keeps for himself.
There we go.
He's not fast enough or shifty enough to get out of the tackle from Reagan Prenti, who chopped him down, went low. Penalty marker came out at that point of contact. I don't believe it's going to be on Prenti. It looked like Prenti dove at the kneecaps of the quarterback, Tyler Budge. Budge only got 1 yard.
Is that going to be crackback?
No, it's going to be. It's on Weddington.
I think it's going to be a hold.
They're asking
Weddington.
Coach Underwood, and he's declining the penalty.
Thank you, Coach.
There was a tackle on Asaph Ishmael.
Would you have taken that penalty?
No.
I think I'd have taken that penalty.
Well,
it's 4th down.
It'll be 4th and 9, and the ball's at the 46-yard line. Weddington is sending out their special team unit.
I'm trying to get 10 more yards of field position.
No, we got to get off the field.
And that's a win for the Hoggard defense.
As much as I say get off the field, I can't even believe what I just said.
26, Kalen Oden, maybe Kylan, is a punter.
Snap it over his head.
And a running back. Looking at the official roster for Weddington, the only positions are running back, wide receiver,
snap it over his head,
quarterback. Here's Parker. So maybe everybody has the talent or the ability to run with the football or to catch it. Here's a high kick. He drops that
ball
out of the sky, and it lands at the 5-yard line, downed there by the Warriors. Hoggard in tough field position again. Typically, it's the Hoggard Vikings that are applying pressure defensively and through special teams, and tonight we're getting a taste of our own medicine. After the first quarter, it's been the defense and the special teams of the Warriors that have backed Hoggard up. Tough to operate in the shadows of your own goalpost or starting from the 20-yard line on drives.
A couple years ago when we were at Roseville, felt a little bit like this, and all of a sudden we got to back up an 80-yard run.
Yeah, just need to make one play.
That's it. Just change the football field around a little bit.
Here's Hoggard with 2 tight ends, 1 wide receiver, and he is shadowed up there at the high side of the formation. It is that pop pass that Blake Edwards has been super successful on so far this year. The pass goes to Edwards, and he is corralled at the 3-yard line. So a loss of 2. There were 3 defenders for Weddington that got there. Man, they move so fluidly as a defense. They tackle in gangs. It's not just one guy trying to make the hit on the ball carrier. It's usually 2 or 3. That time it was 0. T.J. Davis, a sophomore linebacker. And
that's a horrible spot, by the way.
That backs Hoggard up to the 2-yard line. Wilharm going to throw from his end zone. He's wide open. It was Blake Edwards. Edwards made the catch at the 15-yard line. There was nobody in front of him, and he tripped at the 20. He might have gotten tracked down, but before he could get his cleat into the turf and really accelerate,
there's a play.
He tripped himself up. First down Vikings. He had nothing but green grass in front of him and everybody behind him. But Edwards' catch results in a first down. Hoggard on the move. Out to the 25-yard line here on first down. Goes the ball carrier, diving into that big pileup. 1 Drew Harris credited on that tackle. It was Tamir Webb that made the run and got the carry. His first carry of the ball game.
Where's the tight end in the middle of the field?
Picked up 4 yards.
Soft middle of the field.
We've got 2 tight ends in there this time. Isaiah Newkirk at that H-back spot as well to provide extra passing protection. Wilharm going deep. He's got a man. Oh! He had Nas. Session was open. He got behind 2 defenders, and Session just straight up dropped that one. He was out in front of the corner and the safety. Wilharm put it on him. And Session may have looked at the goal line. Golly, looking at the replay on the scoreboard, it went right through Sessions' red-gloved palms. Those 2 plays, those 2 back-to-back plays, well, really 3, show me the Vikings are not intimidated.
We can function.
We can go, guys.
High functioning.
3rd and 5. After the drop, 5 wide for Hoggard. Wilharm in the gun, all alone. He looks to his left. He has time. Completed to Session. Here we go. That one. He caught it twice at the 40. Cross midfield, cross the 40, the 35, and the 30-yard line. He's inside the 30. Session redeems himself. This is about the spot on the football field, just on the other hash where he dropped the previous pass. That time it was a more difficult catch to make in traffic as he was slices and crossed the field on a slant pattern. He did a lot of extra running after the catch was made to inside the 30-yard line to the 29. So those red gloves worked out for him here on the red-painted field at Carter-Finley Stadium.
He had enough time to catch it because the ball was high and it hit his hands and he had to go down and catch it.
Props to the offensive line for providing protection. They've done a nice job on this drive. Now Session going to give Weddington a little taste of their own medicine. He just ran that same route Keenan Jackson has been effective with early in this contest. It's a gain of 5 on the left side out in the flat. So Session proving that he can play at the same level, or wanting to prove so, as Jackson. Session with back-to-back grabs. It's 2nd and 6 at the 26-yard line. Hoggard on the move. High snap. Wilharm corrals it. Looking to the high side of the formation. Thrown out right side. Blake Edwards double covered. And that pass didn't really have a chance from the get-go. 3rd and 6 coming from the 26.
Where's my tight end running down the middle? I want my tight end running down the middle.
We got Bo Toops in there. We also have a tight end out on the field right now in 18 Weston Chalk. He's just a sophomore. Now Chalk exits, and 88 Charlie Kilborn comes in for Hoggard. Skylar Merrill exits. Bo Toops is going to line up on the far side of the field with Blake Edwards, Nas Session, all to the high side of the formation. Wilharm has all 3 targets to his right. 2 tight ends to block to provide protection. Tamir Webb in the backfield with Wilharm. Wilharm rolls right. He's got Session open. Catch made at the 12.
There we go.
He's inside the 10 to the 9-yard line.
1st and goal. Here we go.
Got wrapped up, and Nas Session has come alive here in the second quarter. Will Harm feeling comfortable in the pocket, rotating out to his right. Nice time provided by the O-line, an on-target throw, and the toss and catch from Will Harm to Session puts Hoggard in business inside the 9. First and goal from the 10-yard line. 8:03 to play. Hoggard down 14-7 to the Weddington Warriors. Somebody moved up front on the high side. Now they're going to audible out of it. No flag. Everybody has turned and looking to Craig Underwood for the call. Big offensive line in there for Hoggard. 2 tight ends, 3 wideouts. Hand off to Tamir Webb out of the shotgun. He didn't get much, maybe a yard. Ran right into the teeth of the Weddington defense. I'm going to assume it was 6 Aiden Harris or Drew Harris, number 1, those nose guards that wrapped up Tamir Webb.
We had a snap at the 2 a few minutes ago, right?
We did. We had a snap at the 2-yard line. Hoggard has marched itself all the way out across the 9, and we had a collapse at the 20-yard line that Blake Edwards tackled himself, who maybe would have scored on it. And then a big dropped pass from Nas Session. Session has made great grabs ever since. That ball got tipped. It got tipped at the line of scrimmage. It got tipped by Session, and a diving defensive play from the defensive lineman Aiden Harris, lined up at nose tackle, was busting it to get out on the perimeter and make a possible hit on Session, dove for a loose pigskin and came up with an interception. So just bad luck that time for Hudson Wilharm. It wasn't anything that he did that caused it. Just a great defensive play and all effort from number 6. The ball got tipped at the line of scrimmage. It came out wonky. It hit Nas Session, and there was a collision. The ball then bounced for a second time, and the defensive tackle, which you don't say often, Aiden Harris, ends up with an interception.
While my guitar gently weeps. Oh, my gosh.
Hoggard defense back out on the field. Football at the 7-yard line for Weddington. They're going to throw the ball. Looking deep down the sideline. It's not there. Keenan Jackson's overthrown. Kamar Fulton matched up on him man-to-man. Hoggard going to take their chances. They feel like our guy's just as good as yours. I know Keenan Jackson's got a lot of interest and a lot of offers, and he's supposedly going to play for the Tar Heels next year, but Kamar Fulton can do damage as well. So we'll just play you straight up. How about that? Jackson won once early in the contest, resulted for a touchdown. Fulton wins that time. Here's a handoff right side out of the shotgun formation. 22, Brady Ritter tripped up in the backfield. Reagan Prenti diving at his feet caused the collision. Loss of 1, 3rd and 11. Now it's Weddington's turn from the 8-yard line with 3rd and long to go.
14-7, Weddington leads here in the second quarter.
I don't like this look. 45, Jarrett Austin having to cover a wide receiver is not the matchup that I would go with Hoggard defensively. Penalty marker comes out now before the ball is snapped. Weddington went with a hard count. It looked like our defensive end sort of jumped and got back. If anything, it's going to be offsides on Weddington. Or a false start on Weddington.
Prior to the snap, encroachment number 13.
Well, they called it on Malachi West. So maybe West moved and then calls the movement for the offensive line.
In high school, if you cross the line, it's a penalty, right? You can't cross and get back.
There's no getting caught in there.
That's a good call, guys. Good call.
Yeah, he definitely jumped. I thought he got back, but apparently that's not the rule at the high school level. So 3rd and 12 really becomes 3rd and 7. Here's the quarterback. West was eager to get to him. He couldn't that time. Pass complete on a slant right side for that Keenan Jackson fella. He makes the catch at the 25-yard line, and it'll move the chains on 3rd and 7. So it wouldn't have mattered if it was 3rd and 12. Still completed it for enough yardage to keep the drive alive for the Warriors. The football is in the middle of the field, dead center at the 25-yard line. And Hoggard going to have to regroup here defensively. We've got 3 down linemen, 2 guys on the edges standing up in a 2-point stance showing pressure. One of them's Malachi West. On the other side is Jarrett Austin. Rylan Edwards and Reagan Prenti in the middle of the field. And then the Hoggard secondary, Kamar Fulton, Gillespie, Supak, and Trey Nixon. Timeout called by Weddington prior to the first down play. There's 5:41 to play here in the second quarter. Warriors up 14-7. It's their second timeout of the ball game.
Have you ever thought about a piece of vinyl 12 inches in radius No, it'd be 12 inches in, a radius with a hole in the middle as being an outstanding Christmas present.
It would be 12 inches in diameter was what you were looking for.
That's it. 12 inch. Radius is halfway?
Yes, sir.
Circumference is all the way around.
That's right.
All right. Some signs I was in not geography, geometry. All right. The record bar, Oleander Drive, 5751. We have old vinyl, new vinyl, used vinyl, and still in the shrink wrap. Come see what we've got. We've got our swag. We don't have anybody else's swag. We have compact disc, all kinds of treats for Christmas. Don't forget gift certificates. We have turntables. If you just want to know how to handle these things or how to get started, that's what we're doing. Open from here till Christmas Eve. You can come. Don't come much past 4 o'clock on Christmas Eve needing the Pink Floyd album, but you show up about 3:59, we'll be ready. The record bar is an old name and a new spin, and has enjoyed being a biannual sponsor of Hoggard football. I want to win this football game if you can't tell that yet.
Man in the red hat says commercial breaks over after the Weddington timeout. They have one remaining in the half. 5:40 to play here in the second quarter. Weddington leading by a touchdown. Thrown out right side, their receiver, Keenan Jackson, makes the catch. He got away from 2 Viking defenders, now 3, still on his feet. He broke those tackles at the 35-yard line and picked up an extra 10 before Kamar Fulton escorted Jackson out of bounds. Jackson's been matched up on Kamar Fulton all night. A lot of the catches he's made have been for short distances, and then he tries to do extra work after making the grab. That time he did a nice job eluding a linebacker of Hoggard, Jared Austin, to pick up extra yardage.
7th catch of the game. He's already over 80 yards receiving.
A little bit of trouble on that snap for the quarterback, Tyler Budge. He bobbled it and kept for himself in sort of a panic mode. He just lowered his headgear and his shoulder and ran it forward as fast as he could, which is usually a good move on a football field. He got wrapped up around midfield, so he gained 5 yards. As Chris mentioned, it looked like Hoggard was losing the battle up front in the trenches. Weddington is picking up 4 or 5 yards, it seems like, each time they run the football. And when they throw to the air, they're throwing it to number 11, Keenan Jackson, and he's getting 9 or 10. Defense for Hoggard sort of on their hind heels. Here's the inside give, a little bit of a tricky play. Nice move by the running back, Nick. No, it is 22. Brady Ritter, he's across the 35-yard line to the 32, and it's a long run for Brady Ritter.
There is a Hoggard player that's down. Coach Adams, can you tell who that is?
That's Drayton.
David Drayton.
David Drayton down at midfield holding his knee.
We're going to go to a timeout.
It was a tricky play. You tip your cap to the offensive coordinator of Weddington. Lined up in a shotgun formation, snapped it to the quarterback, Tyler Budge, and he got the snap and then took off to the left like he was going to roll outside on the left part of the offensive line. He took 2 steps and then gave the ball to the running back on a counter play back to the right side, and there was a big hole that Brady Ritter ran through for a nice gain for Weddington. He got stopped at the 31-yard line. So first down for Weddington when we come back from the 31.
You know, I was going to say something. Weddington, we talked about this on the way up here, last week wore all black uniforms. I thought their school colors were black and green. But looking at their uniforms and their coaches on the sideline, I think they are blue and green. So I don't know why they have an all-black uniform with those colors, but they seem to be a blue and green school.
They're green and white.
Right, but then like the collars of their jerseys are blue, and their coaches are wearing blue on the sideline.
That Wisconsin script W on the side of their helmet.
Here we go.
1st and 10 from the 31. Empty backfield again for Tyler Budge. We've seen Will Harm for Hoggard with the empty backfield. They're going to give the football to a running back. He throws out left side of wide receiver. Then a duck is thrown from the wide receiver, floating through the air to about the 2-yard line. Pass didn't have a chance. It comes up incomplete. Penalty marker comes out. Hoggard had that trick play covered pretty well, but a flag is out at the 2-yard line.
They're going to pick this up. They're going to talk about it.
No, I think they're going to call pass interference because I think there was contact made before.
The intended target was the running back, Brady Ritter, who
Tell him
just
to pick it
broke
up.
off a nice run. And there is a lot of discussion at the 5-yard line about this play.
No shame in picking up a flag. None. Go get it. Go fetch that flag. Now stand out here like a man and say there was no foul on the play. Stop and talk to us. There's no foul on the play.
There is no foul on the play.
Tony talked it into existence.
Come on now.
Well, that was 1st and 10. Their Weddington head coach, Andy Capone. Is it Capone or
Now
Capone?
tee him up.
He's not excited. Here, you can look at the replay. Gillespie was there. No, there's no way that's pass interference. Gillespie didn't wall him off at all. Gillespie and Supak were in the area. Trey Nixon as well. And the running back that was pleading for the call was kind of begging mama for something he didn't deserve.
I think if he had made more of an effort to catch the ball, he might have gotten it. But the initial look, it looked like there was contact, but he was moving away from the ball.
2nd and 10 from the 31. They give right up the gut, and the running back is stonewalled. Maybe for the first time tonight. Rylan Edwards there to greet him. No gain on the play for Nick Diamond.
Jayzion Davis.
Jayzion Davis in there as well. So nice move up front for the Dancing Bear. 98. Just a junior defensive lineman for Hoggard.
David Drake back.
Okay, Chris, a little hard to hear right there, but I think Chris said David Drayton is back in the game. It's good to see that.
We need all the help we can get here on 3rd and 10 from the 30-yard line. Hoggard's corners are almost matched up in the face mask of the receivers of Weddington. Time for Budge. He throws deep. It's over the head of the intended target. Hoggard with excellent coverage all over the football field that time. Jake Supak, the senior safety, was matched up on Gavin Schrader. They went Schrader's direction up the seam, but it was about 5 yards out in front of Schrader. He couldn't even make a diving attempt for the football.
You didn't really think they would punt it from the 31-yard line, did you?
Yes. I talked them into picking up a flag.
Ball's at the 31, 4th and 10.
Snap it over his head.
Offense stays on the field for the Warriors. Now whistles blowing. Timeout taken by Hoggard. Defensive staff and Coach Underwood are going to discuss things. There's 3:49 to play before the half.
You know, one of the things that's interesting, we're obviously used to being at a high school venue. The coaching staff for Hoggard is up here on the same level that we are. And Coach Braswell came in here a minute ago. They're evidently having some trouble communicating with the sideline. Coach Braswell was trying to get where Ben Spencer down on the sideline could hear him. So something that they're just not used to being this far away from each other. But, the Hoggard coaches are up here on the same level that we are. Looking at some stats right now, things are starting to balance a little bit more than they were early on, but Weddington still with 207 yards of total offense to just 98 for the Vikings. Weddington more balanced, 123 through the air, 84 on the ground. Hoggard, 94 passing yards, just 4 rushing yards on 6 carries. And, third down efficiency, 4 for 6 for Weddington, but just 1 for their last 3. Hoggard was 0 for 3, 2 for their last 2. This is a big 4th down opportunity for Hoggard's defense.
Mega opportunity.
Hoggard with 3 down linemen, 2 guys on the ends.
Snap it over his head.
Running back goes out in motion. He's all alone. Screen pass set up, caught at the 30-yard line, now weaving his way through the Hoggard defense. They needed 10 yards, is Keenan Jackson, their go-to guy. He got the yards he needed. Gain of 13, maybe even 14. He stopped shy of the 15-yard line to the 17-yard line. Reagan Prenny put a stop to Keenan Jackson, but not before he picked up the double-digit yardage that he had to have on 4th and 10.
Got to bow down here.
A little bit of a backbreaker that time for Hoggard. Big offensive line set. Tons of blockers, only 2 receivers. Right behind him goes the quarterback. Those big fellas up front pushing like a bulldozer. Tyler Budge goes behind them across the 15-yard line to the 12 and picks up 5 again on 1st down.
3 minutes left to go here in the second quarter. Weddington leading Hoggard 14-7 and has the ball in the red zone.
Vikings to receive the second half kickoff.
Two receivers out there for Budge. Keenan Jackson to his right. They ignore him this time. They give to Diamond. Diamond broke a tackle at the 11-yard line. Broke another. Tough effort there from Kamar Fulton as Diamond found the front corner of the end zone and scores from 12 yards out. He broke a tackle initially at about the 10-yard line and then used his speed to hit the corner and hit pay dirt. So touchdown Warriors.
Is that the touchdown off the interception? Is that same
Yes.
drive?
Yeah, Weddington started at the 9-yard line and completed a long third down conversion to keep the drive alive and then picked up a screen pass for 14 yards on 4th and 10. Scored just a couple plays later. So the Hoggard defense was probably gassed after that long drive.
Johnny Adams, I'm coming your way here in a second, okay, buddy?
Kick is
Okay.
up and good. Your new score with 2:44 to play in the second quarter. Weddington Warriors 21, Hoggard Vikings 7.
All right, I'm all about emotions, mood swings, momentum, that type of thing. Tell me what we got going on the Hoggard sideline.
I think we're still upbeat. I think our running backs look a little dejected right now, but I mean the crowd's still good over here. The students are raging. The coaches don't seem overly upset. Welliver was wanting to hold on that touchdown run, but I mean I think we're still in it, and the team seems to still be in it. Yeah. I like what Coach Queen said though. We're playing from behind. We got to see how we react.
I think the big difference so far in this contest has been the way the ball has bounced. We've had
Yes.
two unfortunate bounces. One of them, Weddington fumbled, and it ends up in the hands of their wide receiver at the 4-yard line that resulted in a touchdown on the same play. And then the other unfortunate bounce was the tipped pass at the line of scrimmage and then off the hands of Nas and into the hands of a diving defensive tackle to make an interception. That turnover resulted in that last series and a score for the Warriors. So Hoggard with 2:44 and 2 timeouts to work with here before halftime. A pretty potent offense, and we have the ability to go deep. So hang on to your hats. I'm sure the Vikings are going to try to score. Hoggard kicked off to begin the ball game, so they will be receiving it to begin the second half. Hopefully we can kind of corral a couple of touchdowns. If you could get one here and then come out in the second half and get one, you're right back in the ball game.
You know, you've got 2 minutes and 44 seconds. Scoreboard's that far away. 2 minutes and 44 seconds. Craig is on the scoreboard right now. He's got that look. You know, you're right. How about a couple of bounces our way? We did get the first break. I'm not whining, but so much. I'm whining a bunch.
Everett Scott came out with another nice kickoff, and it sailed to the end zone. So Hoggard will begin this drive at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10. No return on the kickoff. Handoff to Mikael Bellamy. He's trying to work on the right side of the line. Nothing doing. Gain of 1 yard. Viking running backs haven't had a lot of running lanes to kind of cut through early in this well, it's not early anymore, but in the first half of this contest so far.
You know, that's what Coach Adams was just talking to us about, that they looked dejected. The only subset, the only room, if we were watching that NFL stuff on Sunday.
A lot of movement up front defensively for Weddington. They're shifting. The linebackers and the defensive line all moved over to the side as the ball was being snapped and kind of threw off Hoggard offensively. Snap went to Hudson Wilharm, and he stepped out of the pocket, maybe gained 1 yard. So it'll be third down now. It'll be third and a long 9.
Johnny, it's the number that's on the little box.
From the 21-yard line, yeah.
That box is a long way from here.
I didn't even know we had one. I was just telling Johnny to look for it.
It's
big play in this game.
1 minute, 35 seconds to go. John Mason in at tight end. He goes in motion. Snap to Wilharm. Wilharm looking left. Has time. Not a ton of pressure. Still working in the pocket. And then things just kind of went south for him. Wilharm takes a seat at the 11-yard line. There was a tiny bit of pressure coming up the middle, but he held the football just too long.
Well, Nas broke open late, but, the pressure just got there before Hudson could get rid of the ball. But Weddington did a good job early on in that, but Nas was able to keep moving and broke free. I don't know what happened.
Wilhelm dropped the ball.
Oh.
He was shifting around in the pocket, and I guess the ball rubbed against his right thigh, and the football came loose, and then Wilhelm went down to get the football to save a fumble. Masario, a senior linebacker, Matthew Massaro, was the closest man to Wilhelm, so he'll get credit for the sack. Hoggard goes 3 and out, 1:22 to play in the second quarter.
So what we're going to do here, folks, is we're going to hold them. We're going to hold them here. They are probably going to be a bit risky in this particular drive. I'm almost willing to bet, though it's illegal at the high school level, that they're going to come pretty hard after this punt. If they don't come hard after this punt, then those guys are psycho over there. They'll come hard after this punt. Maybe we pick up a cheapie here. Got something here that looks sort of tomfoolerish, but okay.
Whistle is blown before the snap.
Tobias Brubaker.
Hoggard's special teams unit came out. Oh, they want to reset the play clock is what the head referee is signaling.
Oh, totally foiling what we were trying to do.
So
the nuances that an official can do to just drop a little ink in the game.
Brubaker's heels were at the goal line of Hoggard. He kicks this one away rugby style to the 50-yard line.
Did he not wave and then run with the ball?
He did.
Ian McDermott received the kick. He caught it on the hop and then went to straight out of bounds.
Is the fair catch off once it bounces?
Yeah, I think that's probably what the deal is.
I think so.
So they got the ball. Got the ball at midfield with 1:16 left. I think this is really important for the Vikings to keep points off the board here.
There's Craig asking about that. I'm sorry, Brett.
You don't want to give up points right here to close the half.
Okay.
Seems like the defense has been on the field for Hoggard pretty much the entire second quarter, other than that long drive.
The time of possession is 16 minutes for Weddington and 8 for Hoggard.
So they've doubled us up. Here's Tyler Budge in the shotgun.
Blood in the water.
He has time, throws left, complete. Just shy of the 40-yard line at the 39. Diving Hoggard defender is Jake Supek.
He threw to a guy out on the left.
Will Melton, a junior wide receiver, hauled in the catch for a pickup of 7. I'm surprised they didn't run it, but there's only a minute and 13 left after a gain of 7. Melton got out of bounds, and it'll stop the clock. 2nd and 3. Ball's at the 43-yard line.
Need to, God, dig deep.
Hoggard showing no respect to these wide receivers. They are right up on the wideouts of Weddington. Here's that Keenan Jackson again. He makes another first down grab at the 32-yard line. It moves the chains. He caught it in the middle of the field. And right in between the hashes, Hoggard shifting around defensively, trying to counter the offensive attack of the Warriors. Budge with time again. Pressure this time from Malachi West. Budge rolls outside of the pocket, delivers an on-target throw to the left front corner.
It was a great play.
It was a nice throw. It was on target. He used his legs and his arm that time to complete the pass and results in another Weddington first down. Catch was made by 22 Brady Ritter. He's hurt Hoggard on the ground and now through the air with a couple of grabs. I'll tell you what, 22 Brady Ritter.
Folks, this is 51 most important seconds of this season.
Running back and a wide out. 21-yard line's where the ball rests. Budge, this time thrown out right side, looking for Keenan Jackson. He's going to have to make that catch in traffic.
And he did.
Somehow he did it. Perfect coverage that time for Hoggard.
Wow.
You couldn't have done a better job. Kamar Fulton was painted on top of Keenan Jackson. I don't know how the ball ever got to his hands. Jackson is gesturing to himself, holding up 3 fingers, because that's the 3rd time he has scored in this half. Fulton was right there step for step. It just got over his left hand.
I don't know about you guys.
Keenan Jackson made a catch, got 2 feet down and his knee as he was going to the turf. He bobbled it a little bit. If this was at the college level, they would have reviewed it. I think he came up with it. Not enough to overturn, more than likely would be the call. But Jackson with one heck of a grab there to score for the Warriors.
All right, folks.
That PAT is up and good. Your new score with 45 seconds to play in the half. Weddington Warriors 28, Hoggard 7. And Jackson's responsible for 3 of those scores that.
And the school obsessed with flags is having a parade.
Have a little bit longer halftime than usual. It'll be a 20-minute halftime tonight. And we will give you some first half stats, talk about other things that are going on in Hoggard sports, and get a little bit of analysis about what's going on here in the first half.
He actually dropped that ball. He dropped that ball. He didn't catch it. It hit him in his face mask. The ball comes over on his right shoulder pad. Watch the ball hit the ground.
Yep.
Boom. Right there.
I think you're right, Jonathan. I think if that's reviewed,
if that's college, you review it now. Getting another look at the football at that play, that one gets overturned. But unbelievable effort there from Jackson, and he got rewarded for it. May have stolen one there. So your new score with 45 seconds: Weddington 28, Hoggard 7. And that's another one of those unfortunate bounces that have gone against Hoggard so far in the second half. Maybe Cinderella turns back into a pumpkin here for the Warriors at the break. Kickoff is returnable this time. It's Blake Edwards, and he couldn't find a running lane. He gets tackled at the 11-yard line. 39 seconds to work with here for Hoggard. They have 2 timeouts. The last drive for the Warriors was just 4 plays. They went 49 yards, and they scored on a 21-yard touchdown pass.
This is such a difficult decision. I know you're down 21 points, 28-7. But to me, this is such a difficult decision between, do I just try to get out of here where I am, or do I risk digging the hole deeper by getting a little cute?
I think you try to set up maybe a screen pass, and if you can bust one for 20 or 30-yard gain here on first down, maybe you go for it. Instead, Hoggard hands the ball off. They can't bust it anywhere. The only thing busted that time was Tamir Webb, the running back. He got hit at the 5-yard line, loss of 6, and tick-tock goes the clock. We're inside 30 seconds. Hoggard's pretty much going to sit on it, I believe, and go to the locker room with those timeouts in Coach Underwood's back pocket. Cannot get anything going on the ground. That had been a concern coming into this one. Wasn't a ton of running room at Cleveland 2 weeks ago. Hoggard went through the air for 6 touchdown passes and 4 scores from Nas Session.
Wow.
So we have the ability to do it, but as Coach Queen has mentioned throughout this playoff run, Hoggard hadn't had to play from behind. Well, we are now, and we're going to play from behind from 3 scores down. 28-7 is your halftime score. Warriors in front of the Vikings. It'll be a 17-minute halftime. We hope you hang with us. We certainly have the talent and the ability to come back. Don't know if it'll happen, but we hope you're listening to us if it does.
And we'll be back after a couple of words from some of our sponsors. Once again, halftime score, Hoggard trailing Weddington 28-7.
Grab a slice today. A Slice of Life serves up fresh, hot, award-winning pizza, wings, nachos, quesadillas, soups, and salads. They also have great local brews on tap, the largest tequila selection in town, and plenty of flat screens for all the sports action. A Slice of Life Pizzeria and Pub. 4 locations open daily from 11 a.m. until 11 p.m. Order online at grabslice.com.
One of the marks that separates man from beast has been the ability to make and use his own tools. There was a day, not too long ago, when men made tools to last, handsome, reliable, and ready to help you tame the world. Put your hands on something that leaves a legacy. Grab a knife your dad would use. Jocko Blades.
Back here at Carter-Finley Stadium in Raleigh, North Carolina, for a state championship game. Hoggard got off to a 7-0 lead, but it's been all Weddington since then, and the Warriors lead the Vikings 28-7 at halftime. Looking at some stats from the first half that you can see there on your screen, but it's probably a little bit small. Weddington with 287 yards of total offense in the first half on 40 plays. That's an average of 7.2 yards per play. Hoggard with 85 yards of total offense on 25 plays, just 3.4 yards per play. So Weddington with more than twice as many yards per play as the Vikings in the first half. Weddington 20 carries, 101 yards rushing, 15 for 20 through the air, 186 yards passing. And then Hoggard with just 9 rushing yards on 11 carries, and then 10 for 14 for 94 yards through the air. 2 penalties on the Warriors for 20 yards, just 1 for 5 for the Vikings. Time of possession, 16:35 for Weddington, 10:25 for Hoggard. The Vikings just 2 for 6 on third down conversions. Weddington 4 for 6 on third downs and 1 for 1 on fourth downs. Looking at individual statistics for Weddington, quarterback Tyler Budge 15 for 19 for 186 yards and 2 touchdowns. He did throw 1 interception. His leading receiver, Keenan Jackson, 10 receptions in the first half, 136 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then their leading rusher, Nick Diamond, 8 carries for 58 yards and a touchdown. Keenan Jackson actually had a third touchdown as he picked up a fumble and returned it. So he's responsible for 3 of the touchdowns for the Warriors. For Hoggard, quarterback Hudson Wilharm, 10 for 14 for 94 yards. He does have a touchdown pass. That was to Charlie Kilborn on the Vikings' first offensive possession. Nas Session, the leading receiver, 5 receptions, 73 yards. On the ground, Hudson Wilharm, the leading rusher for the Vikings, 3 carries for 13 yards. The Hoggard running backs have combined for 8 carries for 6 yards. So obviously need to get more out of the ground game, but when you're down by 3 touchdowns, that makes that a little hard. Chris Manning back up here in the booth with us at halftime. Chris, you were down there on the sideline for the first half. I think at one point you told us that we were just getting dominated in the trenches. I'm sure that continued, and what did you see down there from field level?
First of all, I had to take the stairs.
Oh, gosh.
So I'm still catching my breath. They were holding the elevators for the coaches. So the thing I noticed about Weddington's offensive line, they get off the ball so fast. And their runs, which you can't see, but they're very quick-hitting runs, very quick handoffs, to the running back. So they get off the ball good, and they get to the line of scrimmage really fast. And we've done okay on the run for the most part, except for a few exceptions. But 11, Keenan Jackson, he's good. He's real good. We were giving him a little bit too much space there in the first quarter. As Tony said, he caught the same pass over and over. Kamar has since gone into press coverage, and really he's gotten just enough daylight, and the pass has been on the money. So he's a problem.
Well, and one of the things, we haven't seemed to be able to get any pressure on the quarterback. I mean, he seems to have as much time as he needs back there to be able to find Jackson.
Yeah, and he's a big guy too, the quarterback. We don't have any stats on him, but he's a fairly tall guy, and he's got plenty of time, and he's given Jackson enough time to get open. And so, 28-7 at the half. I didn't see the last touchdown. I was coming up here, but Hoggard's got their work cut out for them. Really, we've had some bad breaks. Blake, if he just doesn't fall, he scores on that slant pass. Nas had one, it looked like in his hands. I was kind of on the other field. And then on the interception, there was just Weddington had 4 guys around the ball, and it was tipped, and that's what caused the interception. But, if we score there, we're in pretty good shape. But, we're going to have to do something different for sure.
Yeah, I would think, from the defensive side of things, maybe some blitzing. I don't feel like we've blitzed a lot so far in the first half. So, maybe changing things up a little bit there. And then somehow we got to be able to give Hudson a little bit more time to be able to throw it down there. Coach Adams, if you are at a point where you can jump in, just jump in for us. I'd like to get your thoughts on what Hoggard might be able to do offensively while we're waiting for him. Let me talk a little bit about what is going on in other Hoggard sports so far here in the winter. We got done with all of the fall sports except for football, which will obviously finish here tonight. And as Tony mentioned earlier on tonight, Hoggard won 6 of the 7 fall sports, won conference championships, finished second in the others. So a great fall for the Vikings. And winter sports have gotten off to a good start. The men's and women's swimming teams have had 2 meets, and they have won each of those meets, one at UNCW and one down at Brunswick Community College. Their next meet is on Thursday at 6:45 at the UNCW Natatorium. The wrestling team today was up here in Apex. Hopefully some of them hung around. And we mentioned earlier, there's a great Hoggard crowd here tonight, and by far the largest crowd of any of the 4 teams that were here today playing at this venue. The wrestling team will have a home match on Wednesday against Ashley, so a couple of events there. And then the basketball teams in action so far. The girls varsity girls are 5-0, 6-0, as they have they played a couple more games than the guys. So the girls are 6-0, and the guys are 3-1. The only loss coming in a double overtime game at Jacksonville on Wednesday. Conference play starts for basketball this week on Tuesday night. Home games with North Brunswick. The JV games will be at 4 and 5:30 in Hebby Gym, and the varsity games at 6 and 7:30 in Bowles Gym. And then Friday night, all 4 teams will be down in Charlotte to take on West Brunswick. So still plenty of Hoggard sports to come out and enjoy, even though football season will be coming to an end here tonight. Chris made a comment there, had his microphone off, that it appears that we got about a 4-1 advantage in crowd here tonight.
I'd say at least. The people from Wilmington have showed up, and they're loud. We just need to give them a little bit more cheer about, to get them involved in the game. But, yeah, that's good to see that, Wilmington has come out to support Hoggard. That's a good scene.
Well, you get to this point, and it doesn't happen often. I mean, it's been 16 years since our last and only previous appearance in a state championship game, and that was back in the split championship. They had the big 4A and the small 4A, and it's funny that at that point in time, Hoggard was in the small 4A. We were in the smaller half of the 4A classification, and now we are in the top in the top part of the 4A. And the year after next, it looks like that North Carolina is going to go to 8 classifications, and when that happens, Hoggard will be an 8A school.
Yep. Just, some people who listen to this may not realize that. That year, Newbern won the 4AA, and we did beat Newbern in the regular season, so we can say, we were the best team in 4A that year.
Yep.
I think that counts.
Yep. Well, and there's still a second half to play tonight, and we are glasses on.
Guys, we get the ball to start.
Yeah.
We get the ball to start. We got to go down and score. Then we got to get a 3 and out and get the ball back. Create a turnover, and then get this to a 1-score game going into the 4th, and we're there.
Right. Johnny, just from an offensive perspective, obviously been hard to run the ball. Anything that you see down there from field level that you think is important to Hoggard being able to put some points up on the board here in the second half?
We got to contain those two twins up front. They slice and get through the line, and they are just wreaking havoc. I think that's what's hurting the run game, is we can't run up the middle with those two guys the way they are. If we got to throw the ball 25 times, then we throw it. They haven't really got to Hudson. He's got flushed a couple times, but we've moved the ball at times with some passing, and we just got to the line, I think, is blocking on the passing. The running game, I just don't think it's there tonight. We might get a first down on a 3rd and 2, a 3rd and short, but I think we throw to set up the run, and we got to get a score quick, and we got to change the momentum of the game.
Well, and, Hoggard's one touchdown came as a result of a big defensive play, an interception on Weddington's first series of the game, and then on Hoggard's first play was a 4-yard touchdown pass from Hudson Wilharm to Charlie Kilborn. And so the defense all year long has been really good at forcing turnovers and putting points up on the board. And so I think the defense is going to have to help here in the second half. Obviously, they can't give up another 287 yards of total offense like they have so far in the first half. So it's going to have to be both sides of the football putting forth their best efforts of the season to be able to overcome this. And, you look at trying to Hoggard has not been in this situation this year, but they have been able to put points up on the board in a hurry against good teams. Cleveland, Cardinal Gibbons, Laney, Jordan, all very good football teams that Hoggard has played here in the playoffs, and the Vikings were able to score in bunches and score in a hurry. This is the best football team that we have played this year, and so it's going to take the best effort, best half of football that the Vikings have played so far this year. 39 seniors on this team. And when you look at the starting lineup, on offense, you've got several key people, a couple of receivers, 60% of the offensive line, all of your backfield, your quarterback, and then on defense, you've got 9 of 11 starters are seniors. So there's a lot of experience. This was a year that they were pointing toward, that they had a chance to get to this moment. I don't think at this point the players and the coaches in the Hoggard locker room are going to feel like that they've put forth their best effort so far. And so you want to do that here in the second half and make sure you give yourself a chance. Can't drop passes. And got to be able to get some pressure on the quarterback and give Hudson Wilharm enough time to be able to complete passes. So we are about 5.5 minutes before we start the second half. We're about 2.5 minutes away from that 3-minute warm-up period starting. The specialists are back out onto the field, and so we're pretty close here to second half action starting. Great atmosphere, great environment. The High School Athletic Association does a great job of putting on these state championship events. It will be interesting to see what happens when we go to 8 classifications. That's 8 state championship games needing to take place. Back when it was subdivided, they used all 4 of the Big 4 schools. Our state championship game appearance in 2007 was at Wake Forest, and they played at Wake, played 2 at Wake, 2 at Duke, 2 at State, 2 at Carolina. There have been some years where they played 3 at State in Carolina and 2 at Wake. And then, this year the press conference was at the Carolina Panthers Stadium in Charlotte, and there's been some talk that the Panthers might want to get involved in hosting state championship games. So when you have 8 that you have to play, that creates a little bit more chaos when it comes to scheduling and how to get all that done. And you've got High School Athletic Association staff that's been in both Chapel Hill and Raleigh today. There was one game last night. The 3A game was last night in Chapel Hill. The 1A game was at noon today in Chapel Hill, and then the 2A game was at 3 o'clock here at Carter-Finley. And so far, the West has been dominant. The West won all 3 of the earlier games. Hickory beat 71st last night, scored a touchdown with about 30 seconds left to win it. And then Mount Airy beat Tarboro in the 1A championship game earlier today. And then we caught a little bit of Reidsville defeating Clinton in the 2A championship game that took place right before our game. So right now, the West with a 3-0 lead in the state championships and a 28-7 halftime lead here over the Vikings, who have now come back out onto the field for their 3-minute warm-up period, as has Weddington. And Jonathan, Tony, we're about 3 minutes away from second half action.
All right, Jonathan, you got to go out here now. You got to be tougher. There's a little bit of testosterone, mano a mano here. You just got to go down the field and score here. I'm not sure. Here's the challenge. Weddington, we're down to about 7 more points is the most that we can give them. Not give them. The most that they can take from us. But no more dropping the ball, and I'm sure that we have a plan. I never doubt that Hoggard High School at the football or the basketball level, and I'm saying it about him with him sitting beside me, I never doubt that we don't have a plan, and I never doubt that we have the coaching and the preparation to prepare to execute that plan. You're going to find somebody every now and then that's a bigger kid on the block that's going to punch you. But for the most part right now, we have got to stop some things they have shown us. The passing out to the left and the flat, I mean, that we got to – if we get tighter – I'm at the point right now where I'd rather get beat on the deep part of that circle than get beat again in what has become the torture of 1,000 paper cuts. So we are 14-1. We're at the North Carolina's highest classification state championship game with 39 seniors, an experienced club. And folks, Weddington's got a great club. They got a great club. But on the eye test, and I know I'm sitting a long way from it, but on the eye test, right now, pretty much what they've done is their execution has been crispy. And at times we have not responded to that. I understand we've got some injuries, but they're a part of this sport. They are a part of this sport. You ask Florida State University right now if injuries are just a part of this sport. But I'm not giving up. There's no give up in me. But we have got a tight budget right now on drives that can end up empty and additional points that they can score.
Well, the Vikings have done a great job defensively all year in forcing turnovers. And if Hoggard can do that and maybe play with a short field, get back in this thing, because you're going to have to score minimum 3 times. You don't want these super long, drawn-out drives that eat up a bunch of time, especially if they don't result in points. So the best way to get the ball back is to force turnovers, get the offense or Weddington on the sideline, and you can operate with the short field, and Hoggard did that to get their first score of the ball game, only having to go 5 yards, and the Vikings executed 1 for 1. We started this thing off with a bang, had all the leverage and momentum on our side, and things kind of went south when our kicker went down, making a slip. Things
it's a crazy
from that
play.
Point on have been kind of odd for Hoggard, but credit where credit's due. Weddington, not the most creative offense, but it has been highly effective. Let me get the ball to my best player out in space and see if he can make plays. And so far, Keenan Jackson has made plays. He stepped out of a tackle and tight-roped about 20 yards down the sideline and made a nice job made a nice play to get a touchdown. And nice job for him. And then made an acrobatic catch down in the back corner of the end zone with Kamar Fulton draped all over him. If it would have been a replay at the college level, probably overturned, but heck of an athletic play and close enough to get this double hand signal above the shoulders from the referee to get a touchdown. So that kid on two kind of nitpicky bang-bang plays, he also recovered a fumble for a touchdown. So things have to bounce Hoggard's way, and the way you get the ball to do that is with attitude and effort. Just relentless effort, no give up in the Vikings. There hasn't been all year. I don't expect it tonight. And hopefully things will turn.
Not expecting to give up.
I do want to say one thing. We talked about we weren't sure how many people would just listen to us when there are options out there to watch. And we said if nobody listens, we were still going to have a good time doing this. We had almost 700 people at the highest point in the first half watching. There have been over almost 5,000 views of our audio broadcast so far. So thank you to all of you who are tuning in tonight.
That's because we're damn good at it.
Here's a nice long kick fielded at the 10-yard line by Blake Edwards, who scurries up to midfield and across the 20-yard line to the 21 before he is brought down on special teams by 51 of Weddington.
There's another Chris Manning theory, by the way, that he just introduced to me. He said the game is faster down there than it is up here. Okay,
he's probably right.
You know what?
I feel like during halftime, the Goodyear blimp went under us. It was below us. We are flying at about 6,000 feet altitude right now from Carter-Finley Stadium. Here's a pass down the left sideline. Hudson Wilharm looking deep to the running back on a wheel route out of the backfield. It's over the head of Mikhail Bellamy. He was matched up on Braden Barger, and that's something different that we hadn't seen. Maybe a little bit of a wrinkle there. First play of the second half coming out offensively for the Vikings. I don't know if it's too early to abandon the run completely, but we'll take our chances. Let's try to protect Hudson and see if he can work some magic through the air. 4 wide receiver set. Trips to his right, 1 to the bottom. Hudson's going to keep for himself. Rumbles forward, crosses the 20 to the 23-yard line before he slides down.
That looks straight keeper all the way to me.
He was wrapped up. Yep. Michael Loiza, a senior linebacker, got a nice block from Mikhail Bellamy and eluded the defensive tackle Aiden Harris to pick up positive yardage. It's still 3rd and long here. Ball's at the 22-yard line. Hoggard's going to need 8 yards. They got to hit the 31. Make that 9 yards. Bellamy in the backfield with Wilharm. 4 wide receivers. They're all spread out nicely. Wilharm looking to his left all the way. Nas Sessions was matched up man-to-man coverage with the corner Sam Neely, and it looked like Neely had 2 handfuls of jersey, not just one, and kind of rode Session out of bounds in front of the Weddington sideline.
But the pass looked long.
Both teams have played relatively clean. There's only been 2 penalties called so far in the ball game on Weddington and 1 on Hoggard. So Hoggard comes out the second half and goes 3 and out. Not what you were wanting if you were a Viking fan, with just 50 seconds off the clock, 11-10 to play in the third quarter. Go ahead, Tony.
What did you say I did to talk the guys out of that penalty? Wow.
Oh, blocked punt. Tobias Brubaker, first blocked punt of the year.
And gentlemen.
Wait a second. A kid went up over the top, and he's down. He's face down at the 15-yard line. He hurdled a 3-man wedge.
Number 6.
That Hoggard created. He jumped over up at top. His ankles, I think, caught someone's shoulder pads, and he flipped over the top of the Hoggard 3-man wedge, got a hand on the football. He went all out, skied for it, blocked the punt. It was recovered by number 0, T.J. Davis, the son of Panther great Thomas Davis. So blocked by Aiden Harris, a sophomore defensive lineman, recovered by T.J. Davis, and Davis cannot advance a blocked kick, I didn't believe, at the high school level.
Evidently you can.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a touchdown.
That's a scoop and score. That's a scrimmage play. Remember that, as opposed to a free kick.
Coach Underwood was down here saying that he jumped over, which is a penalty, but they're saying, no, he jumped straight up. He almost got one in the first half doing that. He got real close, but this time it was close to whether he jumped over, but that kid was up in the air, let me tell you that.
I think it was knees or ankles that clipped a Hoggard up back's shoulder pads. The kid went down on his head And then he laid at the 15-yard line motionless for about 3 seconds. I thought he was hurt real bad.
I'll tell you how high he was. It's the first time I'd seen their helmet all night.
That's true. I mean, there's an extra point after the touchdown. He jumped over. The three up-backs Hoggard has back there is our left tackle, Michael Gibbs, the left guard, Jason Smith, and our defensive end, Malachi West. He jumped at least shoulder high on Jason Smith, who goes about 6'5".
Oh, my Johnny.
The problem is they stood there and let him come to them rather than one of them going to get him. They let him come all the way to them.
Weddington has some serious athletes on the team. There's been some nice athletic moves and performances, but that right there is the most eye-opening play of the night, in my opinion.
And it happened in the first minute of the second half.
Go ahead, Chris.
He says that's not a rule on that type of play. Of course, we know it's a rule, like a running back can't hurdle a tackler, but he says that's not a rule. So,
Well,
very nicely in the end.
And also, I cannot, be propelled by stepping on, my teammate's back either.
Yeah, I know you can't jump over the long snapper, but I don't think there was anything remotely wrong with what he just did.
It was a heck of a play is what it was.
It's a stud. And now he's jogging back and forth on the Weddington sideline, so he seems to be okay and has a big smile on his face. Why wouldn't he? Weddington's leading Hoggard 35-7, 11:03 to play. If you're wearing Hoggard navy or Columbia blue, things have gone from bad to worse in the first minute here in the third quarter. 35-7 is the score, 11:03 to play. And the Vikings are going to return another kickoff. This time it's fielded at the 5-yard line. Blake Edwards kind of picking his way forward. He's up to the 20-yard line. 32 of Weddington made the hit on special teams that time. That is Jaden Morris, a junior running back, a defensive lineman combo, and apparently he plays special teams. So 10:58 to go. Hoggard offense back out on the field. That's a good thing. Bad thing, you're down 28.
Right now, it's gut check. What you can do is try to get some points quick, but you're still going to have to lock them down on D some. This is a big hole.
A high snap. Wilharm jumps up in the air to get it, hands it off to Tamir Webb, and he goes right side for maybe a yard. I think if Tamir was to pick up 6 feet, it'd be his longest run of the night.
The running game has been sort of in shutdown mode.
In absolute distress.
Absolute distress. That's an interesting comment at this moment in this game.
10.5 minutes to play. Hoggard with a steep uphill climb. Wilharm in the gun. Has time. Throws left. Complete to Nas Session. He bobbled it, but he made the grab out to the 29-yard line. First down, Vikings. Chains are on the move on the Hoggard sideline. And Hoggard will regroup and go no huddle, I believe, as they line up over the football at the 29-yard line.
Just the 5th first down of the game for the Vikings.
Tackle made by T.J. Davis.
I think I'm in shock.
From the 29-yard line. Another high snap. Wilharm going deep. He throws over the top of the defense. Catch made. It's a difficult one. Guess who? Nas Session down to the 29-yard line inside the 30. He caught that one with Sam Neely draped all over him. Maybe the toughest catch of the night for Session. He dropped a sure touchdown in the first half, and he came back. He burned Neely. Neely with a diving effort at the end of the play to take down Session. But Session used his speed and ability to get past the defense of Weddington. Hoggard on the move. Football at the 29-yard line. 1st and 10 Vikings. 3 wide receivers to the top of the formation. Snap to Wilharm. He's going to move the pocket to his right. Gets a good block from Tamir Webb. And then throws the ball into the dirt. Looking for Session on the far side. T.J. Davis in coverage for Weddington.
Nas over 120 yards receiving now. 7 catches, 125 yards.
Other than Nas, I think the tight end Weston Chalk hauled in a grab, and Blake Edwards has one reception on a pop pass. That Hoggard has not gone back to that jet sweep motion. Am I missing anybody else with a grab?
They've got Porter Dabbs in there, but I believe that's Weston Chalk.
Oh,
no.
A super high snap over the head of Will Harm. He tries to get back out on the football. He can't. It squirts away from him, and it's recovered by Weddington's number 32, a defensive lineman, Jaden Morris. It was a high snap, and it had to be really high to go over the head of Will Harm. It stands about 6'3.5", maybe even 6'4". He had jumped the last couple of plays to get the football, and that one was just a touch too tall. And then when he tried to dive on the loose football at full speed back at the 50-yard line, it squirted away from him. So Weddington will take possession of the ball on the Hoggard side of the 50-yard line at the 48. Back out comes their offense. It's the first time that we will see them in the second half. There is 9:19 to play in the third quarter, 35-7, Warriors over Vikings. Handoff up the gut, out of the gun, big hole, broken tackle at the 40. They're not going to catch him. He's at the 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown on the first run of the second half. 34, Nick Diamond went right up the middle for a 48-yard strike. Touchdown, Warriors.
We're going to need a gut check. Not a coat check, a gut check. There were
two guys there to make the tackle, and Diamond split them. He went straight down the middle of the field against the Hoggard defense. Both guys diving at Diamond's knees or waist area, and he just had the speed to get by him.
That reminded me of those long runs in the Cleveland game that we had a hard time stopping them through the middle. What in the world are they wearing? That's a large hat that
yes, it is.
Someone has put on down there on the sideline.
It's been like the turnover hat. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a new era, maybe 14, 59, 50, 14. But it also gives their color scheme, back to discussing that, a little more of the Tulane look than what we've had. Folks, it has been a disappointing night. I'm not going to hide from it.
Tell us about our third quarter sponsor, Tony.
We need the sun. The third quarter, Wilmington Solar. Thank you for your support of hiking Viking football this year. Wilmington Solar can help you take the energy of the sun. It comes up every day. We learned that earlier this year, or I did. Comes up. It comes with tax credits. A special arrangement can be made with Duke. Lots of different things can help you. It'll offset your power cost. It can light an area, a special area. We use solar in our building just to simply power the elevator. That's pretty good because we put some poundage in that thing every now and then, if you know what I mean. Wilmington Solar, proud sponsors of Hoggard football. Thank you guys and ladies over there for your support of what has been, no matter what happens in the next hour, what has been a great Hoggard football season.
Absolutely.
Even though we need to change conferences.
I think we have been on the other end of this a lot this season where issues compound, and it's usually Hoggard that's the recipient of those issues against opponents. Tonight it's happened to Hoggard where the score's 42-7. It feels like it'd be closer than that, but a couple of nice offensive plays and then turnovers and weird bounces of the ball have all worked out for Weddington. That's another strange bounce where a high snap leads to a turnover and the very next play is a touchdown. So Hoggard's done that a million times to other opponents throughout the year, and this time, sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail. So far tonight, we've been the nail.
I'm glad you said that because I got about 3 of my dad's theories we're going to discuss here in a few minutes.
Here's a big return for the Vikings. It got fielded at the 3-yard line. It was number 3, Blake Edwards, motoring his way across the 30. He stepped out of bounds at the 35-yard line. He is showed a little bit of frustration as he flipped the football backwards into the Weddington bench.
You know something we don't get to see from our perspective at home is when the units change. There's just a lot of – it's like ants.
Yeah.
It's 44-person change.
Two wide receivers, two tight ends. Wilharm in the shotgun. He fakes the give to the running back, going to run right side, and he's got a big hole. Crosses midfield. He's at the 40.
Don't look
35,
back.
30.
Do not look back.
Race. He doesn't look back. Got one guy to beat at the 5-yard line. He does it. Hudson Wilharm off the right side. Longest run of the night by far, and it came from someone other than a running back.
There's my gut check.
Hudson Wilharm rumbles in from the
35-yard
line, and it only took one play. That's good news for Hoggard. So that big burst up the middle that Weddington just reeled off, Hoggard comes back and countered it. You wanted a gut check.
I wanted a gut check, and damn if I didn't get one.
And there's a senior showing some senior leadership, a guy that just wants it right now. 15, Hudson Wilharm running high, hard, and handsome across the goal line here at Carter-Finley Stadium to make your new score. With 8:52 to play and a Tobias Brubaker extra point attempt that went through the field goal, it is Weddington Warriors 42, Hoggard Vikings 14.
4 onside kicks away from glory. Did you hear what I said, Johnny?
It's a little early to start the onside kick game, but I tell you what, the greatest Hoggard football game that we've ever seen was actually a loss.
It was.
But it was an unbelievable regional final at Scotland County one night. A Hoggard comeback tonight would put that number 2.
You know, I always tell people I was in the stadium the night of the 13 Miami Laterals that beat the Blue Devils, and that is the second most disappointed I've ever walked out of a stadium. The Scotland County. I think if we look back at the replay, like that new commercials campaign, the replay of us in the car on the way home, I think we rode about 20 minutes and didn't speak to each other.
So here's Damian Bounds. First time we've seen him in a long time. He's going to kick off from the 40-yard line, puts this one all the way back at the 1. Here's a return opportunity for Weddington. Big hole right side. Stepped out of a tackle at the 25-yard line. Still on his feet as he crosses the 50-yard line. Bounds wraps up the return man and slows his momentum, and the return man is finally tackled at the 41-yard line. It was 31, Anthony Barrino, a freshman running back. Not only is Weddington talented, they've got talented underclassmen. So probably will be more opportunities for the green and white of the Charlotte suburb to participate in state championship contests in the near future.
This is their fifth appearance in a state championship game. The other 4 were as a 3A program, and they won 3 in a 4-year period of time as a 3A.
They've stepped up to the 4A level and shown out tonight.
They also won a 4A state basketball championship a couple years ago.
8:39 to play in the third quarter. Give left side. It's a new guy holding the football. Brady Ritter gets a turn. He picks up 9. Kamar Fulton rides him out of bounds right at the first down marker. They're actually going to give it to him, I believe. He got out of bounds at the 32-yard line, and that will move the chains for Weddington. So 1 carry for 10 yards for Brady Ritter in the second half. He's a senior.
They have just answered.
Every time.
Everything. That's probably the first time I've wanted to admit that they just had like a resounding answer to everything.
8:07 now. Handoff Ritter, right side. He's chopped down. Kamar Fulton again. Those two have met on back-to-back plays. Ritter didn't go very far that time, maybe 2 yards. He's inside the 30 to the 29, so it'll be 2nd and 8 to go. It's amazing to me, the offensive line for Weddington. I don't believe Hoggard's recorded a sack so far tonight, and the offensive line is opening up nice running lanes and sometimes gaping holes for the 3-headed monster of running backs Weddington has to offer. 2 tight ends in there for Weddington, 2 wide receivers. Both wideouts are to the right of the formation. Now the running back Ritter will shift from left to right. They fake to Ritter. Quarterback keeps it, throws right side, looking for his guy, Keenan Jackson, on a quick slant, and he found the left palm of Trey Nixon. excellent coverage that time from the Hoggard corner, batted down the pass, and I think that might be the first time that Hoggard's defended the ball on a quick slant to Keenan Jackson's direction.
Are you sure he didn't catch that? My eyes are deceiving me if he didn't catch that.
3rd and 7. Hoggard corners all up on the DB, or on the wideouts of Weddington. They hand off inside. Hoggard need to make the tackle. They broke it. 22, Brady Ritter got away from David Drayton. He could not get away from Kamar Fulton in the secondary. Fulton rolled over the top of Brady Ritter, but he got the 8 yards he or actually it wasn't Fulton, it was 36, Rylan Edwards that rolled over the top of Ritter. Ritter picked up 8. He got to the 22-yard line, and he earned a first down for the Warriors. So inside 7 minutes now, Weddington at the 22, 1st and 10. Knocking on the door of the red zone, they've come back out with 4 wide receivers. Trips to the bottom of the formation, Ritter in the backfield with the quarterback, Tyler Budge. Haven't talked a lot about him in the second half. He hadn't thrown it a ton. He throws it this time, quick out, completed for about a 5-yard pickup, and across the 15-yard line to the 13 goes the wide receiver. 3 Vikings there to greet him. Reagan Prinny on top of the pile along with Jake Supak. And 45. Nope, it was 20, Walker Weston, who is now playing outside linebacker in place of Jared Austin.
I don't want this to sound sort of goofy, but they're yards after good contact, solid contact.
Yeah, they don't go down.
Yeah, I was just thinking that
Spend a lot of time in the weight room in Weddington, I believe.
This has been the hardest team for the Vikings to bring down after that first contact.
And tons of team speed. Chris mentioned it to us at the half. Their defense is just extremely quick. Floated out right side, looking for Keenan Jackson. Trey Nixon does a nice job on him again. No, the ball came out. The umpire signaled for a touchdown, but Trey Nixon, he broke up the pass.
Now, I think that your line field judge signaled touchdown. I think your back judge is getting ready to wipe it off.
The guy at the sticks fielded touchdown.
He did.
The ball came out. He didn't have control of the football. They just showed the replay on the scoreboard. If this stands, this will be the second touchdown that they give to Keenan Jackson. Okay, now they've ruled it incomplete, and that's the right call.
Yeah.
Jackson didn't have control of the ball. That wasn't even a close one, really. Trey Nixon got his hand in between the ball and the 2 hands of Jackson and jarred it loose. Jackson didn't control it to the ground. The ball came out. I guess the front side judge was standing at the front pylon and just didn't have a good angle on it.
Or maybe Jackson's starting to get some of the early advantages of being a Tar Heel.
Potentially. This time only 1 wide receiver. It's only Jackson. He's at the bottom of the formation. Nixon's matched up on him. Quarterback keeps it all the way, runs right behind a big scrum of green and white into the teeth of the Hoggard defense. Rylan Edwards was in there, Asaph Ishmael as well. David Drayton and Ty Bell put a stop to the quarterback.
5:42 left to go here in the clock moving in the third quarter. Weddington leading 42-14 and has a first down at the Hoggard 11.
They got plenty and they want some more. That's what they're doing.
Budge in that short yardage situation burrowed ahead to get the first down. They give to 22. He got stacked up at the line of scrimmage, found a hole, a little bit of daylight, churned through it, and he's across the goal line. Hoggard, I thought, had him stopped at the line of scrimmage. Reagan Prinny thought he had him as well. But now it is Brady Ritter's turn to score for the Weddington Warriors, and he does just that. It's just been that kind of night for the Vikings.
You know what? If that kid played football in Brunswick County, he'd have been down 10 minutes ago. We need a new league.
Well, that's not happening.
We have a injured Weddington player in the end zone, and it's an official stoppage as they check on him. 5:15 to play. Weddington 48, Hoggard 14. The injured player is 65. He doesn't have his helmet on. It's Logan Potes, a senior offensive lineman and also defensive lineman, but he's smiling, got a big smile across his face and talking with the training staff, so he seems to be okay as he makes his way back to the Warrior sideline and is going to high-five and celebrate that touchdown with his teammates. PAT oncoming 5:15 to play in the third quarter. Weddington on top of Hoggard. 48-14. Highlight of the game for the Vikings, what just took place with Hudson Wilharm on a 65-yard scamper for a touchdown.
You know, Jonathan, now we got to have a double check. Gut and pride.
Here's the PAT. It is up, and like everything else tonight for the Warriors, it is good. New score, 49-14, 5:15 to go. My brother-in-law just texted in and said Hoggard's had more problems tonight than a 10th grade math book. There have been a lot of problems, some of them self-inflicted, some of them bad bounces, most of them because of the talent and depth of the Weddington Warriors.
I think that, you know, these situations, I'm not going to say that we were shell-shocked by the stage. I don't think that was the problem. You know, went to Cleveland. That was a stage. Had a big stage. Had a home game with Gibbons. That's another interesting, you know, situation. Playing in this has not been a hostile environment by any stretch of the imagination. I still think we've got their people outnumbered several to a few. But, you know, they've responded. I'm going to say that word a couple times. They've had an answer for everything.
I don't believe Weddington has punted yet tonight.
They didn't bring one.
They didn't need to.
If you could I'm going to play a little game because, you know, we got some things we need to talk about. Still got more than more than a quarter left. If you could have one play back, what would it be?
Recover that fumble inside the 5-yard line if you're Hoggard's defense instead of Weddington scoring a touchdown.
Coach, one play you could have back.
You know,
Johnny and Chris, I'm coming your way.
Maybe the touchdown right before the half.
I think it's. I'm gonna say something that's gonna sound a little silly.
I like silly myself.
I'll wait till after this play.
1st and 10, Hoggard from the 15-yard line. Wilharm going to be forced out of the pocket. He runs to the right and gets rid of the football over on the Hoggard sideline. Incomplete. 2nd and 10 coming here from the 20.
You know, sometimes
I think I know what he's going to say, Johnny.
Things can start too easy. You know, and the way that our season has been, you know, we had run one offensive play for 4 yards. We had a touchdown. We were up 7-0. And, you know, sometimes it can just be too easy. And you kind of think, here we go again in a positive way. But when you're playing a team as good as Weddington, oh, gosh.
Ooh. On 2nd and 10, a quick slant is the call. Weddington went with 3 down linemen. Hoggard checked out of it. And the slant was thrown looking for Blake Edwards. It went off the hands of the Weddington defender. Tip drill and nice adjustment from Blake Edwards, who made the catch, and it results in a Hoggard first down. But that could have just as well been another interception.
So right now, Johnny has voted in the redo one, the fumble that Hoggard could have recovered, that Weddington would pick the same play up and score. Coach Queen's gone with the interception early.
Another high snap. And Wilharm had to adjust to it. It threw off the timing, and he throws this pass intended for Blake Edwards on a bubble screen into the dirt. Incomplete. 2nd and 10 on the way from the 32.
I think a more normal start would have been beneficial for us. However, if you want to look at a play, I think, and I don't even remember what the score was when it happened, but we drove the ball down the field, and I think it may have been the same interception Jonathan's talking about where we threw the interception on the tipped pass. I think that could have been different if we go in and score right there. We're not having any luck right now at all as Wilharm just gets sacked again on 3rd down, so it's going to be 4th down and 14 for the Vikings here. And it looks like they're going for it.
Audience members chiming in saying when Hoggard threw an interception at the 6-yard line, score was 14-7 on the tipped Hudson Wilharm pass.
We're getting some. Johnny, you want to tell us which one you'd like to have back? Johnny Adams?
4 minutes to play here in the third quarter, 3rd and 15.
I would say
Wilharm with time. Crossing pattern is called to Weston Chalk, and that pass was batted down. If Chalk caught it, it would have been a pickup of 4.
I'm sorry, I said it was 4th down before them, but they had already changed the down marker, so that was a third down play.
Somebody was must have a crystal ball over there on the sideline working with the chain gang. So 4th and 15. Tobias Brubaker out to punt the ball away. We're inside 4 minutes. Weddington up 49-14 on the Vikings. Snap to Brubaker, rugby-style kick. Punts it away. Ball lands at the 40, 1 hop to the 35, and Ian McDermott for Weddington will fall on top of it as he brings the pigskin to his chest. No return on the play. 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line is what the Warriors are facing here with under 4 minutes to go.
Coach Adams?
I think it's when we forced that fumble at the goal line, and he picked it up and ran it in. We come up with that ball. I think it changes. Different ball game.
Chris, what you got?
Well, Tony, to add to Johnny's comment, we had so many people swarming the ball that we had nobody there to pick it up. That was a bad break. But hey, we're playing a good team. And like Brett said, that Scotland game got ugly early, and we came back. Oh, we got this.
Here on 1st down, the ball pops out. Hoggard had an opportunity there, but just not the Vikings' night. It bounced right back up into the arms of the Weddington Warriors for a loss of 1 yard instead of a turnover on possession. So even when things don't go Weddington's way, they kind of do.
No overanalysis. I want to tell you it's the slip on the kickoff. It was the first negative play of the game. We left them in field position. They started swinging haymakers. The slip on the kickoff.
Hoggard's down 49-14, 3:10 to play in the third quarter. Tony thinks it all changes if the kicker doesn't slip.
One busted kicking buttocks away from a state championship. That's what I just said.
Well, and we've talked all year long that one of the best plays that was made by a Hoggard player this year was Tobias Brubaker fielding a snap that went way over his head on a punt at Wallace Rose Hill. It's interesting in talking to one of the coaches this week, they compared Weddington's offense to Wallace Rose Hill. Hoggard had just in general, they compared their team to Wallace Rose Hill. And Hoggard had a tough game that night, and it's proven to be tough tonight too.
Weddington set up a screen. It's well blocked. Running back stepped out of one tackle, made Reagan Printy miss, and he's off to the races down the left sideline. Walker Weston chased him down, but he went a long ways before Weston could make the tackle. He crossed midfield, he crossed the 40, inside the 30, and finally brought down at the 23-yard line. Walker Weston busted it to get out there to him. The Hoggard defensive end thought they had the quarterback dead to rights. Quarterback felt the pressure coming, tossed it out left side, and it's the freshman running back, Anthony Barrino, who made a nice play out in space, and it was off to the races for Barrino.
I can't believe how good
his shoe was on his own 25-yard line. So he made that. He stepped out of a tackle and stepped out of his shoe at the same time.
So he got a shoe, wrapped up a shoe, couldn't wrap up an ankle, and now it's the quarterback reaching towards the goal line down the left side. He's stopped at the 2-yard line. The bleeding won't stop for the Vikings. Weddington just pouring it on. Tyler Budge, who we got the scouting report on that he was a runner. He's scored 15 touchdowns this year on the ground. He won't get a touchdown there, but he's about as close to the goal line as you could possibly get. Got tripped up at the 1-yard line. And Weddington knocking on the door again, looking to add points to the board, and they already have 49.
They get squared up with the goal and run pronto. And again,
They got squared up at the goal that time. Quarterback keeps it for himself, so 15 tuds on the ground. Now it's 16, and Budge scores for the first time tonight.
Yes, I believe so.
If this PAT may be important to Hoggard fans, it doesn't have anything to do with the spread or Las Vegas, but the current score is 55-14 after the touchdown. There's 2:23 to play, PAT on the way. So if Weddington can add one more point, it would be a 42-point advantage for the Warriors in the second half. If you're up 42 on someone in the second half, in the regular season, that results in a running clock. Hoggard has done that a couple of times, maybe 4 times on the year. We will see if that takes place.
It does apply all year long. This is the most points that Hoggard has given up in a game since 2003 in a playoff loss to Greenville Rose, and the score of that game was 59-31.
And you know who had a bulk of the scoring that night? A guy named Andre Brown, who left Greenville Rose, came to Raleigh, and scored a number of touchdowns here in the red and white, and then had an NFL career.
And I'm trying to confirm that I'm correct with that. I think that is the most points that a Hoggard team has ever given up, is that 59. And so
what's wild in this game is that 7 came off of a blocked punt. Everything else has been on the offense. It wasn't a punt return or a kickoff return that resulted in points. They've had some long returns, but nothing that put points on the board. No pick six or anything done by the defense. It's been the offense that's responsible for 49 of these 56.
I thought we would have been notified via referee microphone if we were getting ready to go running clock.
I did find Hoggard gave up 67 back in 1969 in an 0-10 season. Hopefully we won't get to that point tonight, but it's most points Hoggard's given up in a long time.
There was a penalty against Hoggard on the PAT attempt for a personal foul penalty. That's a 15-yard variety, so Weddington kicked off from the 45-yard line, and to no one's surprise, it results in a touchback. So Hoggard will begin at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10, and we'll probably see some fresh faces and clean uniforms come in for Hoggard. There's no quit in the Vikings, but if you're in this situation, you now have the opportunity to let everybody that has participated on the team and all those off-season practices and workouts to have the opportunity to play in a state championship game. So more than likely, the Hoggard coaching staff will do their best to rotate guys in the final minutes of this contest. Here's a penalty against Weddington for offsides.
And the clock is indeed running.
We're running, yeah.
It'll be 1st and 5 from the 25 for the Vikings.
If you're an official and you need visual enhancement, go get you some contacts.
Here's Hudson Wilharm. He faked the handoff, keeps for himself, rumbles right side. Got a nice block, much aided from Michael Gibbs, who typically is on the left side of the Hoggard line. That time he lined up on the right, and they went behind him. Hudson Wilharm's run is across the 35-yard line to the 36, and it'll be a Viking first down.
446 yards for Weddington tonight. Hoggard has yet to get to 200.
Inside 1 minute to play in the third quarter with that running clock. Things will tick quickly.
Wow.
I think that's one of those.
A lot of movement up front.
False start, everybody but the center.
Everybody knew the count.
Makes it like a snap infraction.
False start on the offense.
I guess if he snaps it and nobody else starts playing, that's actually okay.
It's okay for everybody but the quarterback because he's going to get slammed. So inside 20 seconds now. This will be the final play of the third quarter. Hopefully it's fireworks. Wilharm wanting to show off his arm and do his best here. 2 wide receivers. They don't show it off. It's a halfback toss left side. As soon as Tamir Webb touched the football, he was slammed at the 25-yard line. Nowhere to go for Hoggard. The defense, the linebacker, Michael Luisa, just ended things quickly for Tamir Webb. That is the end of the third quarter. After 3, Hoggard trailing Weddington 56-14.
Let's have a word from our fourth quarter sponsor, and we'll be right back.
One of the marks that separates man from beast has been the ability to make and use his own tools. There was a day not too long ago when men made tools to last. Handsome, reliable, and ready to help you tame the world. Put your hands on something that leaves a legacy. Grab a knife your dad would use. Jocko Blades.
Our fourth quarter brought to you by Jocko Blades, Tony.
Jocko Blades is a proud sponsor of Hoggard football. God, we've had some great sponsors. We've had some great times at Slice of Life after the game. I think I missed one time because I wanted to go somewhere the next morning at 7 o'clock. Once I got back from that trip, I wished I'd have spent the night at Slice of Life. But there's just, I don't know who taught you your football. If you're listening, my dad taught me a lot about my football and a lot of other people along the way. He enjoyed it was going bad when it got worse. That was one of his that would have gone tonight. He also enjoyed some days you're the dog, some days you're the bone. Johnny had the hammer and the nail working on that. But my favorite that comes into play in this type of situation, he said it might hurt right now, but if you can get away from it a little bit and look back and say that you were 14-2 and you did a lot of good things and you made a lot of people happy. He used to say the guy at his 25th high school reunion, the score, when these guys come back for their 25th high school reunion, the score will probably be Weddington 17, Hoggard 14.
Yeah, and to snowball on that, the team that did get Hoggard earlier in the year, Hoggard got a second chance to match up against the Rams of Cleveland High School. And in that matchup, maybe when it mattered a little more in the 4th round of the playoffs, Hoggard came out on top. So you were able to avenge that one blemish on your schedule and advance in the playoffs. Then you hosted a 5th round playoff game at your own stadium, had tons of fan support under a sellout crowd under the bright lights at Scott Braswell Stadium, and excelled there, and had the opportunity to come here to the state capitol, the Oak City here in North Carolina, and match up against the best. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best.
That's the way boxing works.
And in my opinion, this is the best squad I've seen this year.
This is the best squad I've seen this year.
And I think this is
I saw
as good a Hoggard football team as I've seen in the over 30 years of watching Hoggard football. This is a really, really good group.
There's 11 and a half minutes to play. It's 3rd and 21. Wilharm rolling to his right. Last-ditch effort. Catch made by Skylar Merrill.
Yeah.
He was able to drag a toe, and he's out of bounds at the 40-yard line.
Don't try to steal a peep at that board.
So there is a little bit of meat left on the bone. He did make the grab.
No, he's saying it's incomplete.
Well, that's bad.
It's unfortunate because they were trying to steal a peep at the big board.
Get another look. Merrill had it.
So they came in and changed it to incomplete?
Yes. Yes.
Wasn't a good call.
It would have been 4th and 6. Hoggard needs to be at the 46-yard line. The play in question was Skylar Merrill coming back to the football on an out route. Wilharm was rolling to his right, threw it down the sideline. Merrill caught the ball and was trying to drag a toe inbounds before his momentum carried him.
That's a what call, Chris?
So Tobias Brubaker was out to punt. He's running with the football. Looked like he may fake it. Punts it at the last second possible. Lands at the 45-yard line. Rolls another 15 yards, and it rolls dead inside the 39.
That kid's a playmaker.
Brubaker has a little bit of flair about him. He's the Johnny Football of punting. A daredevil.
That's the best one you've come up with this year, right in the waning moment.
A daredevil back there.
Well, surely they're not going to
run
run
as your punter.
Yeah, they were running the clock during a media timeout, but the officials finally stopped it.
9:37 to play in this contest. Brubaker looked like he wanted to keep it and maybe sprint for those 21 yards needed, but at the last possible second, dropped the pigskin and put his right toe into it. Rolled across the 40, and they're still showing that replay of Skylar Merrill's potential catch. I think he got it, but it won't make a difference tonight.
Yeah,
that's one of those at the reunion. He's going to tell everybody he had it.
Looking back at Hoggard's season, when we started on August the 18th against Cleveland, and Cleveland has not lost a regular season game since before COVID. And we had the ball twice with a chance to tie that or take the lead, and weren't able to do it. But you just felt like, this was a team that had a chance to be special. And then, a lot of starting and stopping with hurricane and, bye weeks and everything. But, that North Brunswick win 52-0, going to Laney and winning 49-15. Having 11 total interceptions against Laney in 2 games this year, beating New Hanover 44-7, a great playoff run. It's just been a fun football team, and a lot of great energy in the school because of it.
Senior quarterback Tyler Budge back out there for Weddington, and that pass is batted down. So incomplete on first down, 2nd and 10 here.
Malachi West got a hand up on that one.
Yeah, Malachi, that's one of those against Laney that he intercepted on the first play of the game, batted it up in the air to himself. And now Budge will come out of the ball game. It looks like Weddington is rotating guys in to big applause. Actually, the entire offensive group is coming off the field for Weddington. So they just went out to run one quick play. And as they are exiting the playing surface, to a round of applause from their friends and family and supporters that have made the trip from outside of Charlotte. New group in there for the Warriors. Handoff straight up the gut, gain of 1. And the ball carrier this time is 22. We've seen him previously, Brady Ritter. He actually scored tonight. And he's done a lot of damage on the ground. He got the carry that time, but didn't go very far. Pickup of 2. Hoggard now rotating guys into the ball game, and applause for their defensive players coming off the field. The guy exiting right now is number 50, Asaph Ishmael, a dog in the middle of the Hoggard defense all year at defensive tackle. Malachi West makes the hit on that carry for only a gain of 1 on 3rd and long. It'll bring up 4th down, 4th and 8 for the Warriors, and this will be the first punt of the night. It's going to come at 7.5 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. I did not think that's the way things would go here, especially with the Hoggard defense of how well they've played all year.
Is that kid barefoot?
I don't think so.
Let me put binoculars on it.
Yeah.
No, Tony.
Hadn't seen a barefoot kicker
and
in a
I
while.
don't remember the punt, but this, according to the stats, this is their 2nd punt of the night, but I do not remember the first one.
A penalty marker just came in.
Illegal substitution on the offense. 5-yard penalty will remain.
It's 26 that's lined up to punt it. Kalen Oden. Maybe it is the 2nd time I've said his name.
I want to make sure that, we've talked with the Hoggard radio network. So we talk a lot about Hoggard, but I want to make sure that I say out loud, this is a damn good football team, this Weddington crowd.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this crowd was solid. They had Jerry Rice and Christian McCaffrey.
Kamar Fulton fields it at the 30-yard line. He's up left side of the field across the 40, across the 45, and takes a seat at the 48.
And there's a flag.
In the arms of a Weddington defender.
Face mask.
45 got a handful of uniform and a face mask. Ben Harrington made the tackle on Fulton before he could get to midfield. But Fulton with a 19-yard return, and according to our crack sideline reporter Johnny Adams and chauffeur this season,
it's fun.
It'll be more yards onto this return.
You know, when we decide we're going somewhere about 4 o'clock, right around Laurinburg before we find the worst meal I've ever had in my life. But anyway.
There aren't a whole lot of options in Laurinburg.
You know what? The next time we go to Laurinburg, the finest cuisine in that town is where we're going. Hardee's.
I got a great meal in Laurinburg, right downtown at a country cooking buffet. I can't remember the name of the place off the top of my head, but that was about 3 years ago.
Got us, brother. Take us home.
They may have shut down by now. Everything else in that town had.
We got another media timeout here. Somebody needs to rescue you all. Stats tonight, 448 yards of total offense for Weddington, just 195 for the Vikings. So a completely different night than what we have been used to. We've usually been on the other side of this, but does not diminish or say anything about getting to this point. When you get to this point, and if you don't win, and obviously tonight it's been lopsided, that doesn't mean that you don't belong and that you shouldn't have been here. Hoggard beat the teams handily that were in front of them all year long, and just one of those nights where we ran into a better team, but it's still been a lot of fun watching this team play. And here we got the last 6 minutes of the season.
Wilharm airs it out left side. Session on the go route. He did not make the grab. That was going to be tough. There were two defenders over there and the sideline that Session was dealing with down at the 5-yard line. Hoggard, after the return from Fulton and the face mask penalty, is going to begin this drive, or is actually beginning this drive at the 37-yard line. So Wilharm just aired that one out down the left sideline, throwing it to his most talented and speediest receiver in Session, looking to score on a big strike.
We're coming up on 5.5 minutes to go. Running clock, state championship game.
Wilharm's going to try the right side. He's being pressured by linebacker Gannon Anthony, and Wilharm just gets rid of the football.
I think Blake Edwards slipped.
And that comes up incomplete. 3rd and 10 here for Hoggard from the 36.
Have you enjoyed following Hoggard football this year? Here comes a different public service announcement. All right, folks, basketball season. You won't have to worry about the weather inside. If you've never been in Sheila Bowles, come see it. It's a fine new facility. Coach Queen will have some football players wearing some tank tops and gym shorts here in a couple of days.
5 wide for Hoggard. Wilharm, quick throw, right side. Grab made at the 30. Picked up 4 more before he's dropped, is number 80. Ryan McAllister makes the grab for the Vikings, and it'll move the chains. A junior wide receiver. First catch of the year, and what a time to do it. Maybe the biggest stage of the season for Mr. McAllister, so congrats to him on that reception. 5 wide again for Hoggard. 1st and 10 at the 27. Thrown out left side. Skylar Merrill has blockers in front of him, and Merrill was two-handed shoved out of bounds at the 23-yard line. Pick up a 4 on 1st down. 2nd and manageable. It'll be 6 to be exact from the 23-yard line.
We are now inside 4 minutes, 56-14, Weddington and Hoggard. I don't know if it was that close or if it was that lopsided.
Yeah, it was just really surprised. Not what we expected, but as we've talked about really good football team.
Another tough snap that Wilharm has to handle. Thrown out, catch made for a diving grab. Number 2, Skylar Merrill at the 20-yard line. Picks up 2. 3rd and 4. Hoggard needs to get to the 15-yard line. Yeah, I said at the break, Weddington sort of resembled Hoggard or did a lot of the things Hoggard wanted to do in the ball game. Similar style offensively. Similar look in the uniforms, actually. The guys with same heights and weights. Here's McAllister again, and he broke a tackle at the 10-yard line.
It's having a night.
Keeps up the speed as he broke a tackle right at the goal line, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Hoggard. Nice pitch and catch there from Wilharm to number 80, Ryan McAllister. I just said he made his first grab, and his second one, he got points for it. Catch and run on a quick slant. He broke a tackle and went the extra 10 yards for the score. So congrats to him. That's a big night and a career moment for number 80. Not everybody's having a bad time if you're wearing Hoggard blue. I'm sure his mama and daddy are excited, and him as well. PAT is up and good. Tobias Brubaker puts it through. Your new score with 2:59 to play in the third quarter. Hoggard makes it look a touch more respectable. It is 56 for Weddington, 21 for the Vikings.
Coach, we got home basketball this week?
We do. Tuesday night, North Brunswick, who is undefeated at 7-0.
A league game.
Yeah, we got a league game right against a really, really good North Brunswick team. So JV games at 4 o'clock and 5:30 in Hebby Gym. Varsity games at 6 and 7:30 in Sheila Bowles Gym. So
how about Friday?
Friday we are at West Brunswick.
More league.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then we'll be hosting the Hoggard Holiday Classic on December 28th through the 30th. 12 boys teams, 12 girls teams in town for a lot of basketball the weekend after Christmas. So come out and support the basketball teams. Tony mentioned we do have several of these guys. One of the rough things about making a deep playoff, this is the only rough thing about making a deep playoff run is that the guys that are playing basketball have missed 26 practices and 4 games. And you just hate for there to be that much overlap, and that they have to miss that much time. But we'll try to get them up to speed. Basketball and football conditioning are a little different, so it's going to take those guys a while. But be good to have those guys that have experienced a lot of winning this year back out there with us soon.
You can never have enough winners on your roster.
That's a very, very true statement.
Kickoff that time from 56, Anias Tyson, his first kickoff of the night, and Max Hawthorne came down on special teams and put a stop to Weddington at the 21-yard line. So nice coverage that time for the Hoggard special teams unit. Talking about the similarities between Weddington and Hoggard.
Coach Adams, you got something?
Yeah, Jermaine Armour's in the game.
Oh, good.
Jermaine is a senior corner, number 6.
He's been banged up, but good that he's
been a starter all year long in about 3.
Yeah, he just went out there for one play.
One snap.
About 3 weeks ago, he injured his hip and has been questionable each week during this final march through the playoffs.
One last thank you to the Hoggard Athletic Booster Club, the Record Bar, Wilmington Solar, Jocko Blades, and especially Slice of Life. Thanks, all of you.
So run on second down into the Viking defensive end. Dancing on the scoreboard from the Weddington brothers, Drew Harris and Aiden Harris, twin defensive linemen that played defensive tackle. And it was Aiden Harris that came away with a crucial diving interception. Hoggard just trailing by 7 at the time and sort of flipped things. Weddington went down the field in a drive that started at the 7-yard line. They marched 93 yards and scored to go up 21-7. So you're at a 14-point deficit rather than potentially a tie game. Up the gut is Cortland Simmons, another freshman running back that gets a touch here late in the contest. He's to the 25-yard line and is taken down by the Hoggard secondary. Man, you just look at the Weddington roster. There's so many freshmen and sophomores on it. Maybe some of that is because of JV players getting elevated up to the postseason roster, but tons of talent that are underclassmen. So with the running clock, that'll be the final play of the ball game. That's it. That's all. That is the ball game. That will do it here from Carter-Finley Stadium for the 4A state championship game. Vikings come up a touch short. It was a tough night for Hoggard. Final score, Weddington 56, Hoggard 21. Came up a little short tonight, but we've been on top of a lot of them over the years and certainly this year, and couldn't be more proud of the Vikings the way this year has gone.
We'll have a word from Slice of Life, our title sponsor, and then we'll be back for a few closing remarks here as Hoggard falls in the state championship game 56-21.
Grab a slice today. A Slice of Life serves up fresh, hot, award-winning pizza, wings, nachos, quesadillas, soups, and salads. They also have great local brews on tap, the largest tequila selection in town, and plenty of flat screens for all the sports action. A Slice of Life Pizzeria and Pub. 4 locations open daily from 11 a.m. until 11 p.m. Order online at grabslice.com.
Back here at Carter-Finley Stadium in Raleigh as the teams are shaking hands at midfield, a rather long line. That's about as long as I've ever seen. There are people shaking hands next to the stands on both sides. A lot of people, a lot of JV guys, brought up probably on both of these. I know at Hoggard, and the teams will gather at midfield for the post-game award presentations. Got to be a tough moment to get to this point and not be able to finish the job, but nevertheless a great season by the Vikings. Just to recap some stats: 453 total yards for Weddington, pretty balanced. 210 on the ground, 243 through the air. Hoggard finishes with 232 yards. On 49 plays. Weddington ran 59 plays. Big difference. Weddington 7.7 yards per play. Hoggard 4.7 yards. Hoggard with just 37 rushing yards on 18 carries, and then 17 for 31 for 195 yards. Weddington 6 penalties for 50 yards. Hoggard 3 for 25. Weddington with a 28 to 22 minute time of possession advantage. Weddington was 6 for 10 on third downs, 1 for 1 on fourth. Hoggard 4 for 11 on third downs. Individual stats: Tyler Budge, 17 for 24, 243 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. On the ground, Nick Diamond, 9 carries for 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. And I believe the player of the game is Keenan Jackson, the Weddington receiver who is going to Carolina. He had 10 catches for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns. All of that came in the first half. That's an incredible half. For Hoggard, Hudson Wilharm, 17 for 31, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 195 yards. Hudson was also the leading rusher for the Vikings, 7 carries for 59 yards and a touchdown. And the Vikings' leading receiver, Naz Sessions, 7 receptions for 125 yards. We're going to be fairly brief here on the post-game show tonight. We aren't able to, get down there on the field for any post-game interviews, and don't think we're going to wait for what might happen in the press conference, but would have been a little different if the Vikings had won. We've talked about 39 seniors on this Viking football team. We'll miss a lot of the people that were a part of this team this year and have been a part of this program. But the JV team went 8-2 this year, 6-1, won the Mid-Eastern Conference Championship. and a lot of the kids had an opportunity to be a part of this run in the playoffs and kind of get a taste of what this is like. Matthew Boring, freshman quarterback, had to start one of the playoff games, the first-round playoff game, and led Hoggard to a 52-0 win over Chapel Hill. So even though a lot of the people that we called all year long will not be around, people like Matthew Boring, Nas Session, Blake Edwards, Michael Gibbs, Kamar Fulton, Rylan Edwards, those guys will be back next year. Jazion Davis, Hudson Patterson, Walker Weston, Weston Chalk, Tate Myatt, some names that we have called throughout the course of the year. Isaiah Newkirk, those guys will be back, and next year will be a challenge for the Vikings. It'll be a difficult schedule, starting the year off at Cleveland, having to go to Rose. Just 4 home games next year for the Vikings. Have to travel to Rose, North Brunswick, West Brunswick, Ashley, and Hanover, in addition to Cleveland. So, but we will look forward to bringing you all of those games again next year. We have had an absolute blast doing this. Great opportunity for us tonight to be able to call a state championship game, and we do appreciate everyone that has followed all year long, whether it was on our YouTube broadcast when you could see what was going on, whether it was a very frustrating buffering night up at Cleveland, or tonight where you couldn't see what we were talking about, but you tuned in to listen. And so
you fought through adversity like the team did this year.
But we really do appreciate our sponsors that we mentioned throughout the course of the night and what they have done for us to be able to bring this to you each and every week. And, excited to be able to do it again next year for the 2024 version of Hoggard football. Any words from either of our guys down there on the field?
I think they checked out.
I think they're being beamed up, Scotty.
They might be on their way up to us and not able to communicate. Tony, any last thoughts before we leave the air?
I enjoyed the ride. You know how much I enjoyed this, spending some time with you guys. This was a great season. Say it one last time. You move away from it. You look at the football banquet, the athletic banquet, whatever happens, and you say, hey, we were 14-2 Eastern Regional champions. It's a good season. It's just a good season.
Absolutely.
A lot to be proud of.
Hey, guys.
Go ahead, Coach.
Go ahead. No, I was down here taking some pictures of the ceremony of our guys. So, but yeah, hey, it's been a blast hanging out with you guys, and we'll do it again next year. I mean, there's nothing to hang their heads about down here. I mean, it's an incredible season, a great group of guys, and a great coaching staff. So, but I enjoy doing it with you guys, and we just keep getting better.
And interestingly enough, they're doing an award ceremony down there, presenting trophies to both folks of the team. The defensive MVP for the Vikings is number 0, Kamar Fulton. And I guess offensively they just gave it to Tyler Budge, the quarterback of Weddington.
Well, Hudson Wilharm, what they do is they do an offensive and defensive MVP for each team, and then they do an overall. And so Hudson Wilharm was Hoggard's offensive MVP. And then they're getting ready to name the game MVP, which is going to be, I believe,
Keenan Jackson. Well,
yeah.
Interesting that Keenan Jackson's the game MVP and the defensive MVP for Hoggard was Kamar Fulton. And those two guys were matched up on each other most of the night. So 2 of the most talented guys going head-to-head. That's interesting to see. But, yeah, just to echo everybody else's thoughts, this is being able to do this is awesome. Like a little kid, my dream comes true, and get to pretend to, like, each Friday night's Halloween for us. You know, we get to be Troy Aikman and Joe Buck and enjoy watching the Hoggard Vikings, and hopefully bring some smiles and laughs to your house or your video screen. And make it as entertaining as possible, and enjoy the accomplishments of the players and everybody else with the Hoggard Viking program. Fantastic season, fantastic group, wonderful coaching staff, and hopefully we'll do it again and be back here next year.
Are you finally done?
Well, as the Hoggard team moves into the toward the end zone here for one final time to gather, we do say again that the result of tonight does not diminish what this team accomplished or say that they didn't belong on this field tonight. Just a tremendous football team, a lot of fun to watch, and as Tony said, when you get away from this a little bit, you'll be able to reflect on just how special a group it was. And, they will have a banquet at some point, I'm sure, and be able to celebrate these guys and the coaching staff and what they've been able to accomplish this year. So thank you again for joining us. Hope you have enjoyed watching and listening to us as much as we've enjoyed doing this. And one final time for the 2023 season, we sign off here from Carter-Finley Stadium in Raleigh. Hoggard falls in the 4A state championship game to Weddington, 56-21. Vikings East Regional champs and finish with a 14-2 record. We will hope to see you in person at some basketball games, swim meets, wrestling matches, and then in the spring, baseball, softball, soccer, lacrosse, track, tennis, golf, everything that goes on in the spring. We hope to see you at Hoggard sporting events, and then we'll see you again next August at Cleveland.
This broadcast is going to end the exact same way it started. The Weddington cheerleaders are still waving a flag. They're committed.
They have done that all night long. So thanks for joining us. Signing off once again for the final time here this season. Hoggard falls 56-21, 4A East Regional champs. Everyone have a safe weekend, and we'll see you at Hoggard for some sporting events real soon.